Hi, friends.
Oh,
Boy, a little wild morning to start here, huh?
Yeah, right?
Merry Christmas to all of you out there who celebrate.
Hey,
Merry Christmas, and to all a
Good
good Blazer night.
good day. We're going to sports real hard today. We're going to sports real freaking hard.
Just did a cool Winterhawks promo.
Yeah.
The whole crew is in the station right now.
Yeah, it's the twice a year that everybody's in the building.
I told Isaac Ropp I was excited to see him, and I'll see him in a couple months, and he said, no, you won't.
Yeah. You know, the thing is, man, with me changing the time slot, I used to see those guys every day.
Yeah.
And I didn't see the morning guys.
But now I see the morning guys
Yeah.
every day.
I think I liked it the other way around.
Ouch. Shots fired.
No, I love those guys.
Dude, shots fired.
I love those guys. Come on now.
Do ya?
I do.
I don't know if you do.
I do.
You're not talking to Brandon very nicely on the way out.
Wait, no, I was talking to him very nicely. I just said we had a difference of opinion. I actually even said, he said something that I don't think anybody else thought, and I thought that was interesting.
You better not treat new Brandon that way. I like new
I
Brandon.
will.
He's off to a good start.
I will.
People that good looking, you can't
I know.
talk trash to.
Second BYU loses, I'm just going to stomp his soul out.
You know, that's what
See,
we
look at that. He's pointing like, yeah, that's fair.
That's what we should. That's what we should have done. We should have done that for the promo for the Winterhawks. Is have Brandon stand in for me,
just
and
have
then
the-
I'll just voice over it, so they think that I'm him.
Oh, there you go. That might help your branding.
That would help the branding a
Yeah.
lot. People at Winterhawks games would be like, "Ooh, damn, I'm
Right.
into that.
right?
Break me off a piece of that."
Said they're going to watch me beat you up.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Winterhawks are fun, man.
they are. I have never once had a bad time in a Winterhawks game. Not one. And I didn't say bad time. Every Winterhawks game I've been to has been awesome.
I had a bad time at a Winterhawks game, but I was 19 doing things that aren't legal, and one of my friends got caught, and so that didn't go well. It was a playoff game at the Moda Center. I think I'm banned for life from the Moda Center.
Wait, Winterhawks playing in the Moda?
It was a playoff game
They play a playoff game? They play in Moda?
when I was 19 years old.
God, did it just open then?
I don't know.
If you were 19.
19. It's 2004.
Okay, so it's been open for 8 years.
Yeah. But there'd be hockey games over at Moda at the Rose Garden from time to time.
I don't yes, there were. I do remember that because they did have issues with them, like ice or the condensation building up on the floor. 'cause
Yeah,
of the
my
ice.
buddy's dad was pissed because the season tickets for the Memorial Coliseum,
Mm-hmm.
they like tried to appropriate them in the correct spot at the Rose
But
Garden,
not quite.
But not quite.
'Cause
And
it's- look-
because he was like on the corner at Memorial Coliseum.
Not just that. Memorial Coliseum's old as hell and ancient, and look, they've done the remodel, which is
How dare you talk
Awesome.
about that sweet, sweet lady?
look. It still smells like cigarettes from the 70s. Which, if that's your jam, cool.
Boy, I'd say I'll be right at home with that.
But I'll tell you
Me and
this:
Rusty pour some Tito's and we'll call it a day.
the sight lines in that place, immaculate.
Yeah, dude.
Immaculate.
It's a small place, dude. It's why I love Providence Park too. Same reason.
It's not
Like,
just that though; it's the angle of the seats. It's not as steep because they're not trying to stuff as many. Back then, they
Right.
weren't trying to stuff as many seats in there. So there's a little bit more spacing. It's a lot more of a subtle grade, and so all of the sight lines in there, Memorial Coliseum for USC is very similar because it's an older building used with kind of older mentality of like.
that place is huge though.
Yeah, but it's the same kind of thing. It's very, very, very gradual grade. Like you go to Autzen, there's a time where you feel like you're hiking up a cliff. It feels like you're leaning forward because the grade is so much. But that's also why it gets so loud. You know, that part of it is. I remember we saw the Suns and the Blazers. I want to say it was 09 or 10.
Steve Nash?
Yes, they played a preseason game.
Amari
in there,
Stoudemire?
and I was like.
Sean Marion?
It was before I was media, but I was 2 rows back.
Was Dan Marley on that team?
No, not then. No,
One of
but
my favorite players growing
but
up.
I got to see Steve Nash and Brandon Roy on the court together at the
That's
Memorial
That's
Coliseum,
pretty cool.
2 rows back,
That's pretty cool.
and I was like, "This is super dope."
I would like to do this for
Like,
a living.
100%. Like, I would like to be here watching these two guys play this game in this capacity, and like that was the cool thing. It was like. Because it's Memorial Coliseum, it doesn't have like all of the piped in noise that you get on game day and stuff like that. It was a lot more all natural, as it were.
Mhm.
And so you could hear everything. And it was just like, this is dope. I want to be a part of this all the time. But also, that place is, the amenities aren't there and it's not nearly as comfortable.
The only thing that's going to be tough if I go to a Winterhawks game is I can't smoke in the spot that I like to smoke in because that's the entrance to to Memorial Coliseum.
Yeah, there's no smoking the pancakes anywhere.
Yeah.
Rufio says they want to talk about my new TV look. My hair is entirely normal.
Well, I don't. You look done up today, dude.
Oh, I just put product in it.
You
That's
look
like,
done up today.
That's all.
Boys on TV tonight, friends.
I didn't
They don't
shave.
put this ugly mug on TV.
I didn't shave because I'm shaving before. I got to go home and grab some stuff. And I'm like, I'm not going to shave this morning.
I'm on YouTube, but that doesn't matter.
So we'll tighten.
My
We'll tighten
mom watches me on
There you go.
YouTube. She thinks I'm pretty.
There you go. Somebody's got to.
Hi, Mom.
But no, I gotta tighten up the facial hair and do little trimsies, do the makeup.
I was going to shave this morning, and then I was up from 3 to 5 again.
Got a little hurt tum.
No, I don't know what it was. I just couldn't fall asleep. I need a new mattress. Going to spend the money on a new mattress. Had the conversation with my wife last night about buying Timber season tickets.
Or a new mattress.
And no, I mean, we realize we need a mattress more.
Yeah.
I got to wait till my kids are in high school.
For what? Season tickets?
Yeah.
Why?
Just because of timing and being a parent and
Them
being
being able
gone
to
that
take
many
care of
times.
themselves.
Yeah. My youngest is in 4th grade.
6 more years.
Yeah, dude, that's brutal. That's brutal.
Yeah, but I mean, you'll be like 40, 5, 46?
In how many years?
In 6 years?
I'll be 46.
There you go.
On this day.
What is that in Hobbit years?
I don't know. Like 4?
Okay. Because they live forever, don't they?
I think they don't live forever.
But I mean, like a long time.
They live for a long time, yeah. 503-864-6326.
It's like inverse dog years.
Rusty, do you know how long hobbits live? Or anybody in the booth there know?
I have no idea.
You guys got a party going on in that
Yeah, I
booth.
know. It's like
That would be I could see Dan, IT Dan in there.
Dan says at least 111.
At least 111.
There you
Good
go.
call.
Nice.
I could see Dan with the rave music in there.
Oh yeah, are you kidding me? He's heard a bass drop a time or two. Full on into that.
What is going on in there?
I don't know. There's a lot of cables. There's a lot of confusion. Hands
Printer
up.
stuff.
I learned today that an IT person's least favorite thing is a printer.
Because printers suck.
I know. It's like printers and washing machine. Printers and dryers.
I've been here 3.5 years. You know how many times I've printed something?
Well, that and printers, you never try to print something when you're in a rush because they can smell fear.
Yeah, what is that? Like, is this just job security for the big printer business? Like making sure that you got to buy a new printer all the time?
Pacific Office Automation, baby.
Mm-hmm. Planned obsolescence. No, I've literally never printed anything here.
I got a printer at
Not
home that
once.
seems to work pretty well. But it's like when you get that industrial size, right? Is that the problem?
See, that's the thing is I got the cheap HP one that's literally like the most basic thing you can have.
For Christmas, I bought my wife a $350 printer.
Oh, yeah, see, I guess she's a teacher, so
She loved it.
Yeah, I never print anything. You know, the last thing actually that's not true. I had to print out my contract for TV, and I was like, crap. When was the last time I printed something? Like I looked at it, and there's no paper in there. I was like, God dang it!
No ink.
Had to go unall.
It's all in blue.
Yeah, I did have I got the one printer I got has the click in refills. That was the only thing that I wanted. I wanted something that not no ribbon, no tape, nothing. Just the ones you can like literally pop the top off and refill.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's kind of a game changer if you're willing to do it. And I was like, oh, that's perfect because I never print, and if I buy like one set of refills, it'll probably last me my life. So but I did have to find paper. I did not have where's a ream of paper in my house?
I was trying to, so I make a lot of the concerts that I have seen from some of the bands that I love. You can find audience recordings online, and I've been transferring them from digital onto cassette tape. Like kind of like they used to do with the Dead back in the day.
Nerd.
I know, super nerdy stuff. But I've been making J cards for them, which are what's inside a cassette tape, the paper that tells you all this stuff. And I used to work at a place that had a just baller printer.
That you could set it up for that.
That I could set it up for that and printed it on like cardstock and full color because I was using the poster from that night's show as like the album art. I did it one time on my computer at home and I had to refill the printer cartridge.
Because
the ink cartridge. So I was like, oh man, I can't do this. So don't let me have access to the printer here because I'm going to start printing more of those. I'm going to have to go to Kinko's for this.
Yeah.
I am a nerd.
Odyssey will check on you.
They will check on me.
They start sending you bills. You just see like little docs in your pay. Ink.
I know. They want to get on my laptop and know what my laptop says.
Yeah, no, you
ain't
and
gonna
I are both on the same wavelength on that one.
That ain't gonna happen.
Like if you guys want to give me a new MacBook, I'll gladly do that. But I have fallen over and fallen on the sword for my Apple overlords. I don't care. You can talk to me about everything else. I've been doing it for too long. All my stuff is all linked and everything works.
I got an
don't
iPod,
care.
an iPad, an iPod Touch, an iPhone, an Apple
I got the
A
watch.
a MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
I don't have the watch. I don't wear a watch. I don't wear jewelry.
I did all of the things. I swore my allegiance to the fine apple, and I will go down with the ship.
Yeah, Steve Jobs, you got me.
Yeah.
You got
Congratulations, you got me in the loop, and I'm not leaving. I'm too old to go like, well, the Google phone, the Samsung phone. I don't care. I'm too old.
I know. I don't need a nice phone camera either because I don't take pictures. If you follow me on Instagram, it's like 1 or 2 posts, maybe a month. Maybe.
I have tried.
I took pictures at the Timbers game on Saturday because I was going to post them on Instagram. Completely forgot.
Yeah, I've tried to take more of them more recently, but yeah, for the most part, I'm failing.
Ugly Duckly. We got a show for you today. It's Wednesdays. So we'll have Tyson Alger on at 10:30 for 2 segments to talk football as the Oregon Ducks come off a reassuring win against Rutgers, flying into the bye this week, right? It's Wisconsin this week. It's the bye next week, so we'll chat with him about that. Some other little college football things to get to. We'll have Ross Smith on today to talk Timbers as they have the wild card game tonight. We'll do that at 11:15. But yes, it is Christmas morning as the Blazers take stage tonight. We'll also have another fun conversation about the NBA. The top 5 most fascinating players in the league for you to watch this year. And I want to hear your thoughts as well. So send those in. But when we come back, Merry Christmas, everybody. Are we excited? Are we stoked? It's Blazers, baby. We'll do that next. 105.1 The Fan. 10:16 here, Portland sports leader. Don't you forget it. We are live from the shadows of the historic Fremont Bridge. 503-864-6326 is the fan text line. Also, youtube.com/1051 The Fan. Join the chat. Watch our pretty mugs on the TV. Danny's double dipping on TV today. It's Blazer opening night. We'll have Tyson Alger on here in about 15 minutes, slide over some Duck stuff. I don't like moving our guests when they're reoccurring. So I know it's like weird timing that we'll do Blazers then Ducks, but just, bear with us. Bear with us. Scale of 1 to 10 tonight, Daniel. How excited are you?
Very excited. It's just now starting to hit me the season is here. This is the latest it feels like I've gotten into it. A lot of that has to do with just the way this offseason went. To be honest, a lot of it has to do with where my life has been for the last couple of months. It's been up, down, everywhere in between. But now it's like I'm starting to get all right, we're back. I got to watch most of the game last night. This is a mild tangent here real quick. NBC body bagged ESPN last night.
Low-hanging fruit.
But body bagged them.
Except for the Carmelo, Vince Carter, T-Mac thing. Vince Carter looked around like, have y'all ever done TV before? Carmelo's got sunglasses and a jacket on. He's like, yeah, that man can ball. And you're like, Melo, put the weed down, bro.
Yeah.
Watch some basketball and talk to me.
Get your feet wet before you start getting completely ready for the game. Blazers fans, you can do that. Go about it. But no, I'm genuinely excited. I just had to say that just because
Mike Tirico on basketball again sure is nice.
Not just that. The bar was the floor, and they didn't just go, oh, we'll step over it. Like they went, this is all you guys have been doing. This was not hard.
And I'm the weird guy, and it's probably because I loved him as a player because he's my favorite player of all time. I love Reggie on calls. I don't understand why people don't like Reggie.
Here's why I love Reggie. Because he gives a damn.
He does.
He's excited. He's fun. And you can say, well, he does this and he whines about this and it's like, I don't care. He's excited.
He talks trash.
He's fun. He gives a damn about the game, whereas the ESPN product was like all the time. It's just like I don't know. But as it pertains to the Blazers, I'm genuinely excited. I think I've beat this drum 1,000 times already. It's not just what's their record gonna be that has me excited, or where they could.
If that's the number one thing you're thinking about, and listeners out there, please we want to compile some of your thoughts. So text in your thoughts on win-loss record or what your expectations are, et cetera, et cetera. But if anybody's going into this season and their number one concern is win-loss record, I think you're looking at this team the wrong way.
I do too, and it's not like this. I'm trying to find something like fun to talk about, or I don't care about the wins losses. No, I do. I absolutely do, and when we make our predictions, I may surprise a few people. But looking at this, whether it's me or Casey Holdall or Sean Highkin, the guys that are there every single night for the last 10 years, kind of a deal. We're all looking at this like there are so many storylines. There's so much fun stuff to think about, to talk about, to discuss, to consider. I mean, we already have Shaedon going in the starting lineup. What does Young Hansen look like? What does Scoot look like when he gets healthy? Can Denny kind of continue with what he had going? Does Sharp have another gear? Tumani's got his contract. Can he outperform that? What does Drew have left in the tank? How does Jeremy do coming off the bench now? Does Donovan, is he able to find something offensively to balance out his incredible rim protection and defense that doesn't, mitigate how good he is on that end? Like there's just so many different things that you can go to. And we haven't even got into the season yet where all the things will start unwinding.
Start playing out.
And different things will make you think about something differently. There's just so many storylines. There's so much more excitement. There's so much stuff there night one than in any year probably since 2020.
And I think because of that, it puts the Blazers in a very different situation than everybody else. If you look around the league and you start looking at teams that aren't in win now mode, that are in rebuilding mode, but starting to think they're about to take the next steps, I'll throw out the Brooklyn Nets of the world, the Charlotte Hornets of the world, the Pelicans, the Jazz, the Kings, etc. Some of those kind of bottomer teams, if bottomer is a word. I think hoopers around the league might also, outside of this market, might also find this Blazer team fascinating for that reason, because Look, people get really sensitive when you have to watch a rebuilding team. Nobody really likes it. It's a lot of growing pains. It's a lot of losing.
And the city is not built for it. We
No,
saw it. It's just
it's our only team in town of the big three, and the growing pain is really, really tough. But I will take the Pepsi Challenge and throw it to any of those other teams, whether it be the Brooklyn Nets or the Charlotte Hornets or the Washington Wizards. I'd rather watch the Blazer fan. If I'm a diehard NBA hooper, I think I'd rather watch this Blazer team than most of those teams in the bottom. I'm not talking about like Dallas and San Antonio.
I'm 100% with you. I think the only argument I could see is somebody being like, I like Charlotte. They got a lot of fun young guys. Or I like Washington. They got a lot of fun young guys. Brooklyn has that, but you're like, why do they have 9 point guards?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like
where this team has a shooting guard, a point guard.
There's functionality
wings,
to
centers.
Like,
it's more traditional built.
I haven't listened to Zach Lowe and his league pass rankings, but I would imagine most people have the Blazers in the upper half of the league pass rankings. Number one, you've got Casey and Lamar on the call, which is always going to bump you up.
Collab.
You're gonna play aggressive defense. You're gonna be physical. You're gonna get after guys. They're gonna play with tempo. They're gonna grind you. You've got the
also if it's 11 o'clock on the East Coast, you get live basketball.
Well, yeah, but you've got the allure of like, what is Hunson like? You know, you can go full Zoolander. He's so hot right now, kind of a deal.
Yeah, because like to use the Hornets as an example, right? They have LaMelo Ball.
They have Brandon Miller. They have
Brandon Miller.
Yeah.
Con Kneppel to me is kind of the only thing that really excites me about that because I know what LaMelo is. I don't really expect more from LaMelo than what he is, and I'm interested to see Brandon Miller take another step forward and see how the rookie Con does because I loved him at Duke. Outside of that, I'm kind of meh on the rest of the team. Toward the Blazers, you mentioned it. You telling me that I'm excited to watch a basketball team whose backup center, who is raw, like that's cool stuff. And I don't think a lot of people in the league have that.
Or
you got a guy
getting loose for a dunk. Remember, the dunk of the year was what he did to Champagnie against Washington.
And also, like, I imagine being in the Atlanta market and being like, who's this Toumani Camara guy? He made all defense. That's why I think the Blazers are very, very.
There's just a lot of stuff. There's a lot of unknown, and not the unknown in the Utah Jazz way of. You know what I mean? Like,
see that's the worst place to be.
Oh yeah.
I don't even the Pelicans, man.
I
know Zion's healthy and all.
The Pelicans to me are the worst, the literal worst place to be in the NBA. Pelicans and Kings. Those are the two teams. You can probably toss the Raptors in there because they have a lot of money committed to guys that don't fit together. But the unknowns are not. They're good. I don't know how good.
Sure.
It's not I don't even know what they are.
Yeah.
Like, Shaden's good.
I know Denny is good.
Can Denny be great? Can Shaden be great? Can Tu be great? Can Donovan be
I know Drew Holiday is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Can he bring that juice?
Can he rebound
team?
and say last year was a bit of a down year because of injuries? You know what I mean? Like, that's the questions about Drew and Jeremy are like, can they just be who they are? Those guys, but those two guys specifically. Everybody else, it's how good can they be?
Also, another fascinating thing too, and I mean, this is like looking way more long term, way more down the line. But do guys get traded at the deadline? You know, do we walk this back again? Do we start talking to these conversations? What does this team look like around the All-Star break?
Sir, we have so much time to get there. Please don't start this now. Please don't start this now. The season is starting tonight. I cannot think about trades.
I will tell you what, though.
Somebody already is.
All 5 starters tonight will not be traded.
Oh, okay.
You don't buy that?
We'll check.
You don't buy that?
Yeah. We'll check on that.
What's the first thing you're going to do when you get in the stadium tonight? Get in the arena, excuse me.
Well, I'm going to get there a little bit later than I used to, just because, I'm not hanging around here for 3 hours. So, I'll probably just pop in, see what's up, grab some food, and
this is why you should start drinking again, because then you'd have something to do.
Yeah, no, I have to go home and take care of my dogs.
Hey, you can drink on the way.
Yeah, no, you can't do that, and I live an hour plus away. So,
you need an automatic car so you can just sit in the passenger seat.
Yeah, those haven't had any problems.
No,
they definitely haven't crashed, caught fire, or had any issues like that at all. But no, but my usual deal is like, what's interesting is, so the media room used to be where the lunchroom was. the media, like when we would have like post game media availability, it would be after the game when they would pack up all the tables and chairs for dinner or whatever, lunch. And then there's a media room. It's a closed room where we have a work area. But the open area, the common area, is where Chauncey and the two guys post game would do a press conference. Well, now that area is just press conference, and they moved the media dining out into the back Undergrove hallway kind of a deal, which is kind of a weird situation. But they're doing that because there's going to be roughly 30 Chinese media members here.
Yeah, that's going to be the wild thing. You know, I remember Ichiro in Seattle, and it was just all of a sudden was like, whoa, media access skyrocketed.
Yeah,
through the
they're
roof.
expecting a metric crap ton tonight. So that's another thing. You're like,
are they going to get mad if Hansen doesn't get on the court tonight?
he's playing. No matter what, he's playing.
I came all the way here for this.
No,
Nothing.
The Blazers aren't that stupid. Like there's 700 million people that are tuning in. Like I will continue to beat this drum until everybody understands. Chinese basketball fans
It's huge.
It's more than the rest of the world. It's
Well, they got more people.
700 million people. Like it is their sport. They are locked in. China is going to be like what Japan is for Shohei. If you're in Tokyo and Shohei's up to bat, the city stops.
That's pretty cool.
They all turn and either look at their phones or look at the TVs that are in the windows. Like that's what it is. When Hansen gets on the floor, that nation is going to come to a stop to watch him. It's going to be crazy.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
It is.
Pretty cool.
Talking to I've done interviews for Tencent, the Chinese ESPN media partner, and I get texts and DMs from Chinese fans of like, hey, found you. This is so cool. We really appreciate you. Like, because I say like nice things about Hansen, they think I'm the greatest person on the face of the planet. And I'm just like, oh, you guys really like this guy. Like, whoa, it's an entirely new thing. It's been a super fun experience.
503-864-6326. Your thoughts are welcome here. I'm genuinely excited about this season. I love having a young and defensive core. It feels different than season pasts. Beyond that, he's going to indoctrinate an 8-year-old to be a Blazer fan.
Yeah, I like a good. I like.
Just
some
remember,
good
if it turns out bad, they have you to blame.
it's like the 14-year-old Jets fan. Do you see him?
I would never make somebody be a Cleveland Guardians fan. That would just be mean.
Did you see the 14-year-old Jets fan?
I did.
That was tough.
That's rough, dude.
I was born into this. I've never seen a kid so defeated and browbeaten. Like that's usually like the 54-year-old guy who's suffered.
Yeah.
It's like the Red Sox fan that in 2003, like, I was born into this. They've never won and they've never been able to do it. This is miserable. Now, eventually they did, but like
Then they
he
won
had
3 and 4
that
titles.
attitude at 14. Like that's tough, man. That's
Yeah.
tough.
All right, we'll put a pin in Blazers, and we'll get back to them throughout the show today, as we will, really get into the hard-hitting questions tonight, what to expect tonight as well. Your thoughts are welcome. Please continue to bring them in, 503-864-6326, or on the YouTube chat. When we come back, we'll slide over to Ducks as we have Tyson Aldrin from the I-5 corridor. Look out, Eugene Springfield, who joins us every single Wednesday to talk Oregon. We'll ask the question, how do you build momentum? As that's where the Ducks are after a thrilling victory over the Rutgers. Some might not call it thrilling, but if you like Dante Moore, you would. Stat line look nice. We'll do that next. But first, there's Rest with Sports.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
This update brought to you by Grand Central Bowl Arcade and Sports Bar, your Ducks game day headquarters in Portland. First on the Fan, the Trailblazers begin their 2025-26 campaign tonight, hosting Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves. Edwards, though, is questionable due to back spasms. Head coach Chauncey Billups announced his starting lineup yesterday. Drew Holiday, Shaden Sharp, Tumani Kamara, Denny Avdia, and Donovan Clingan. It's a 7 o'clock tip on 2.2 on your antenna or Xfinity Channel 302. That is KUNP. The Blazers are 4.5-point dogs. ESPN begins their portion of the season this evening as well, 4 o'clock from Madison Square Garden. It's the Knicks hosting the Cavaliers, who had the best record in the East last season. Cleveland are 1.5-point favorites. And at 6:30 from Dallas, number 1 overall pick Cooper Flagg making his Mavericks debut as they host Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs. The Mavs are 2.5-point favorites. Over in the NFL, Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels ruled out Monday night against the Chiefs due to a hamstring strain. Marcus Mariota will get the start. Jets quarterback Tyrod Taylor, who took over in the second half of Sunday's loss to the Panthers after Justin Fields was benched, he is considered day-to-day with a knee injury. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of Ducks game day. Before and after every Ducks football game this season. The Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Our good friend Tyson Alger of the I-5 Corridor, Lookout Eugene Springfield, joins us for two seggies as we recap what went down over the weekend for your Oregon Ducks. Yes, Danny, your Oregon Ducks. And a look ahead
Quack.
to this weekend. Tyson, good morning. How are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm doing good, guys. How are you?
We are great. This is probably the time of the year where you remind yourself it's probably a good thing you don't have Blazers on your schedule as well, being that the Timbers are in a playoff game and the Ducks are trying to win a natty.
Yeah, it's a pretty busy time of the year. You know, thankfully, as it turns out, they just ended the whole MLB playoffs after this weekend.
Oh yeah, nobody plays anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody plays anymore. They said, you know what, we're done. We're just going to call it a draw amongst everybody. So thankfully, we don't have to juggle like all of that too. But yeah, with the Timbers kind of nosediving the second half of the season, it's a unexpectedly busy Wednesday tonight.
Let's just dive into the Oregon Ducks after they defeat Rutgers 56-10, and honestly, it wasn't that close to begin with. This offense looks like it came back on track, all right? Noah Whittington, 125 yards, 2 tuds, looks like an absolute monster. Sadiq got back in the game. Dante Moore looked efficient. Your takeaways from an offensive perspective getting back on track?
Yeah, they just basically rectified every problem that they had in that Indiana game. And obviously Rutgers is no Indiana, but I'm not going to sit here and find any fault with a game where you produce 750 yards of total offense, including 400-plus yards of rushing. A week after being sacked 6 times, Dante Moore wasn't even pressured in this game. I was very impressed with their explosive play ability. There was a stretch, I think, in that second quarter where he completed 6 passes of 20 yards or more in a row. And then, yeah, just kind of the balance of that running game too. I was very impressed. They looked in sync. I mean, obviously that first drive where it's the fumble and Rutgers takes over and gets the field goal. There was a moment of here we go again, but that was just about it for the Scarlet Knights in that game.
Dyson, I'm going to pick some nits. I got some nits to pick here.
Do it.
Yes, they blew them out, and we were talking about it on Friday. The line was 17.5, and I was like, if they don't absolutely obliterate this line, I'm going to have questions. So they came out and they absolutely stomped them. They did exactly what they should. Feels like the identity is there. Dante did look good, but there were multiple times, and I was listening, I heard Jerry and Jorgie on the call talking about this. A lot of those deep balls, a lot of those big opportunities where guys were wide open, he wasn't dotting guys up, and I'm sitting there going, is that maybe why we haven't seen Oregon be so explosive in the passing game? Is maybe he's just not quite as consistently accurate with the deep ball unless he's got a ton of room to work with?
I mean, maybe there. I'll have to go back and take a look at some of those throws. But I do know earlier in the season he had a few of those like back shoulder dots with DeCorian Moore and Kenyon Sadiq. But you know, we know his arm talent is unquestioned. Like, he shouldn't be underthrowing dudes, but like, yeah, you know, especially when a week after everyone was saying Will Stein's the worst offensive coordinator in America, he schemes up an offense where guys are wide open. I mean, maybe a week after playing Indiana, Dante was just so shocked that guys were that open. I did like that laser he threw to Sadiq on that first touchdown. That was a rope. Also, just an incredible play from Sadiq to like split those two dudes at 245 pounds and get up and grab that ball. But yeah, you know, I think he can definitely improve. Like, this is a guy who was very turnover prone during his time at UCLA, and obviously he's been excellent in all but one game this season. But he's still pretty young in this, so yeah, I think that's something that can get better. What I did like in this game, though, was just, it was nice to see them feed Sadiq the ball until he got hurt. I feel like that's a player that, like, we've all known what he can do, and they've used him at times this season. But, you know, you get kind of in a hole a little bit early in this game. Obviously, Whittington's touchdown is what brought the Ducks back into the game, but they really stretched it out with those 2 plays to Sadiq, and that was pretty fun to see.
He's Tyson Alger, the I-5 corridor. Look out, Eugene, Springfield. That's what I want to touch on. Sadiq, my guy, finally gets the ball and looks really good doing it. I mean, extremely efficient, 4 catches, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns. Obviously, he had the big one. Any update on health situation? I know Lanning doesn't love to share with us. It sounds like he'll be okay, but is there anything you're hearing that should concern me of maybe my favorite player in college football?
No, he's going to be fine. We talked to him yesterday at media. He said, turns out that hurts a little bit when you fall right on your hip after a touchdown grab like
Especially
that.
Especially a big boy like that.
Yeah, no kidding. So they basically, it was the game was in hand. They held him out for precautionary reasons. He should be good to go this week against Wisconsin. But I also don't know how much they need him in this game.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. We'll ask the question: does Dan Lanning get another coach fired? But I want to stick in this Rutgers game just to clean up shop a little bit before we slide to Wisconsin. Is this just getting reps, or is Brock Thomas the number 2 quarterback?
You know, if you talk to Dan Lanning, it sounds like Brock Thomas has been the guy in practice, and so you know, I don't know if that's going to be what it ultimately is when you get into the heart of the season and, you know, you're playing in maybe the Big Ten championship game or the playoff. But, you know, right now the kid from Eugene has been the guy, and I don't think it was completely smoke and mirrors, you know, them bringing them out there and then talking about him as such following the game.
All right, we'll put a quick little pin in this. We'll take a quick break and bring you back, and we'll dive into the Wisconsin game. And I want to ask the question of momentum. How do you build momentum after that loss? Because you've got this game from Jersey, you get Wisconsin, and then you've got a bye. Is this the perfect opportunity? We'll do that next. It's Tyson Alger with us, as he does every Wednesday, 105.1 The Fan.
The Fan.
All right, our man Tyson Alger from the I-5 corridor, and look how Eugene Springfield joins us every single Wednesday to recap the Ducks. And let's move on. Let's press forward. I want to ask the question about building momentum and how you kind of go about it. Is it as easy as just, not to overlook teams, but let's be real, we can call a spade a spade. Rutgers, Wisconsin, back to back is a nice place to build momentum, or is there a little extra that Lanning juice in it?
Well, I think the bye week presents a tougher offensive challenge than what the Badgers will this week. So you can't overlook the bye week. It's an interesting one because the Ducks did do the thing where they had their biggest game of the season and then they went into the bye, and so they had that momentum and they weren't able to sustain it against Indiana. This is a little different because these are definitely two get-right games before the bye. I think Rutgers is better than Wisconsin, so I don't even want to fancy thinking about what the score might be on Saturday. But, I think these are games where you just continue to get guys reps. It's continuing to build that confidence within Dante Moore. That's something that he and Dan Lanning talked about after the Rutgers game was just, they didn't think he played super confident against Indiana, and they just wanted to get him back to feeling loose, to smiling, to having fun. And when you throw 4 touchdown passes in the first half, that's a pretty good way of getting back onto the right track. So I don't think you can take a whole lot of necessarily momentum into the bye week, but I think you can take a whole bunch of solid proof of concept and building upon things, and obviously getting 2 wins and getting into that break without being terribly hurt, I think is the important thing, because that Iowa trip, I think, is going to be a tricky one here in 3 weeks.
And it's got Big Nooner written all over it, amigo. Sorry about that.
Tyson, the offense went nuts. They did everything they needed to do. The run the ball was very prevalent in that game. But something I've heard Lanning get a little spicy about in the press conference when he's been pressed on it by all of the media down there is the lack of defensive disruption and explosion. You get 3 sacks, you get 2 picks. Kaliakmanis who coming into the game was putting up pretty damn good numbers for Rutgers. It could not do a single thing. Even with the disruption that they got, do you feel like Lanning was satisfied with that, and do you kind of see more opportunity for them to kind of show out even a bit more? Because defensively, it doesn't feel like, as good as they've been, it doesn't feel like they've had a game where they were just so outwardly dominant, not just in the score, but in the box score, like the big wow plays. Do you feel like that opportunity is there against Wisconsin?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing is, in that Indiana game, we just didn't see any of that disruption, and you saw what one of the best quarterbacks in the country could do against that. Rutgers, the numbers improved. I'd argue that they could have been even better against a Rutgers team that allows a lot of that to begin with, even against average teams. It was a step in the right direction. I did like what I saw from the secondary. I mean, it seems like every other week there's a new young player making a big play there, but I'm right there with you. I want to see a game breaker on the defensive line. I want to see one of those like Kayvon Thibodeau games, or one of those. Even last year, I feel like Mateo Uiagalelei had a couple more games where you're just like, boy, like that was the difference for Oregon. Obviously he doesn't need to be the difference for Oregon against Wisconsin, but there are some really talented dudes in that front seven, whether it be Amari Washington or Barry Alexander, Mateo, Tatum Tuioti. Like they're all good. They're all seasoned players, but I do think that that's like the one gear that the Ducks can really kick in here in the second half of the season, because they have the talent there. It's not nearly the production that they had from that group that they had last season.
Tyson Alger, the I-5 corridor. Look how Eugene Springfield. Let's slide over to the Wisconsin game, and I'm kind of with you. I dread to think what the final score might be, but let's look at it from a Wisconsin standpoint as you're kind of diving into this team, and we as professionals give everybody the fair shake of stuff. Where has it all gone wrong? I mean, is it just pointing to head coaching? Because Wisconsin is a lifetime blue blood in the Big Ten and a great job to have, and this team is just abysmal right now. Where are you seeing the massive issues on this Wisconsin team?
Yeah, I just think they were one of those like very good teams that were good at being about like a B plus in the old era of college football. That's unfortunately, getting left behind a little bit here in this new era. Like, they're not dominant on the recruiting front. They're not dominant in the transfer portal. They kind of changed their identity and tried to go a little bit more pass happy, and they're not good at that this year either. So it's just kind of like one of these programs that, you know, from an Oregon perspective, you've had so many great games against Wisconsin. Even last year, like at Wisconsin, that was a good game. And you can go back to the Rose Bowls, and this is kind of like one of those teams that I think Oregon thought they were going to have consistently good and potentially like rivalry games here in the new Big Ten Conference. And it's just they're one of the worst teams in the country right now. They're winless in Big Ten. They haven't won a Power 4 conference game, I believe, in 10 games in a row. They barely score anything on offense. It's kind of a bummer to me because, again, when the conference is merged and you're looking at who Oregon's going to play, you're kind of looking at the teams that you're familiar with. And yeah, like, I have a lot of good memories of watching those two teams play. And one of those teams, Oregon, is at the forefront of everything that works with college football right now. And then the other is just kind of spinning its wheels and figuring out who it is. And that doesn't really work when you're in the Big Ten.
Taking a look at where Oregon is at, where everything is in college football, do you feel like you see a team like Miami falter against Louisville? And it's not comparable necessarily with Indiana, but the vulnerability of basically everyone. I heard Dirt talk about this, and he was joking in the sense of like, you know, when did Oregon go to a national championship? It was when they lost an October game. Do you look at that loss against Indiana and kind of what Oregon has out in front of them and go, it's probably better that they got kind of punched in the face then rather than later, like it kind of feeling good going into the playoff like they did last year where Ohio State just came out and did what they did? They kind of had that taste in their mouth for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think you can definitely make that argument. And there's obviously pretty strong proof of concept of how that can better a team. And you can just look at Ohio State last year, who didn't just wear one of those, but two of those during the regular season. You know, the funny thing to kind of counterbalance that is all throughout last season, Lanning talked about like, hey, it's great to try to find some adversity while still getting on the winning side of that. Like, they're not going to say that they'd want to lose. Like, in a perfect world, they'd go 16-0 and be crowned one of the best teams ever, right? But I do think that they can learn from this, especially with how young the roster was. I think it was really important for them to play in a really tight game, and I think there could have been obviously pretty big lessons learned from coming through in the clutch from that. But I think to be able to get that early in the season and to be able to readjust, especially with the way that the schedule is kind of shaked out here, I think they've absolutely made the most of it. And this is a era of college football where I think there's more parity at the top than there's ever been. There's fewer of those just like absolutely like elite teams. It might just be Ohio State this year. So, you know, one loss isn't going to kill them. And I think kind of embracing a little bit more of that NFL season type of mindset where it's you're continually working to get better and then peak in the playoffs is kind of what Oregon's doing.
There's a party tonight in Portland at the Moda Center, but there's also one at Providence Park. I don't know which party's going to be more fun. Let me get your thoughts real quick as you're my Timbers guy. We're going to have Ross Smith on at 11:15, who's covering the game tonight. Boy, I could ask you 1,000 questions, but I'll go with Felipe Mora. Can somebody score a goal on this team, or are we in trouble tonight?
If you're going by past results, I believe the Timbers have scored one or less goals in 11 of their last 15 games. So history's not on your side there. If you're wanting them to win, they have one win since July 25th. So that's not really on your side there. If you want momentum from like a crowd that's happy with things, the Timbers left Saturday's game in a downpour with the Timbers Armory booing them off the field.
I left in the 53rd, brother. I don't blame him.
So the vibes aren't exactly there. However, it's the wild card, baby. It's the playoffs. It's soccer, you know?
Yeah,
like
anything can happen.
And anything can happen, and this has been a very largely disappointing season for the Timbers, and especially for Phil Neville. And, you know, they got out to such a good start to start this season, and it's just been a nightmare since. But, you know, as Phil said in the postgame, he's like, you know, if Christopher Velda would hit one of those goals that he's nearly missed about 50 times since he came over to the club, we'd be in a much different spot. And it's like, yeah, he would, but he hasn't, but he could tonight. So, you know, I think that's what they're holding on to, and we'll see what happens.
He's Tyson Alger, the I-5 corridor. Lookout Eugene Springfield to be at the Timbers game tonight. What are you writing this week? What do you got for us?
I have a Oregon women's basketball season preview coming out tomorrow, and then later this week I got a little fun going back through history story about a Oregon-born baseball player whose MLB career ended thanks to a feud between Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb. So,
color me intrigued.
Coming out a little bit later in the week.
All right, thank you very much, my friend. Enjoy the game tonight, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Hey, absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Yep, he's Tyson Alger, the I-5 corridor. Look out Eugene Springfield. Go check out his stuff. Boy, he piqued my interest. Baseball guy, too? Man, what's this guy not do?
Baseball doesn't exist for him right now.
I should have told him that I'm taking the Dodgers in 3.
Don't do it. Well, at least you're not
It's not the
Jays.
Mariners. Yeah. I'm not taking the Jays.
Stuff.
No, I'm not taking the Jays. All right, we come back. We got a loaded second hour. Hang with us. 105.1 The Fan.
When it Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
This update brought to you by Mountaintop Metal Roofing. No maintenance, energy efficient, fire resistant, and a lifetime warranty. Do it once, do it right. Visit mountaintopmetalroofing.com. First on The Fan, the Trailblazers begin their 2025-26 campaign this evening, hosting Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves. Edwards, though, questionable due to back spasms. Head coach Chauncey Billups announcing his starting lineup yesterday. We're going to have Drew Holiday, Shaden Sharp, Toumani Camara, Denny Avdia, and Donovan Clingan as your starting five. 7 o'clock tip on 2.2 on your antenna or Xfinity channel 302. The Blazers are 4.5-point dogs. ESPN begins their portion of the season this evening as well, 4 o'clock from Madison Square Garden. It's the Knicks hosting the Cavaliers, who had the best record in the East last season. Cleveland are 1.5-point favorites. Then at 6:30 from Dallas, number 1 overall pick Cooper Flagg making his Mavericks debut as they host Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs. The Mavs are 2.5-point favorites. Jets quarterback Tyrod Taylor, who took over in the second half of Sunday's loss to the Panthers after Justin Fields was benched. He is now considered day-to-day with a knee injury. Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels out Monday night against the Chiefs due to a hamstring strain. Marcus Mariota will get the start. And Buccaneers head coach Todd Bowles says running back Bucky Irving and wide receiver Chris Godwin both out Sunday against the Saints. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of the Fan Happy Hour with Luke Anderson. Weekdays 2 to 3. The Fan Sports Network. 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
All right, hour number deuce. If you missed any of the first hour, you can catch that at the Fan Podcast, 1051thefan.com, the Odyssey app, wherever you get your podcasts, youtube.com/1051thefan. If you missed Lucy Birch, you can check that out on the app this morning from Dirt and Sprague or on the YouTube. If you missed the boys getting back together on prime time last night, you can check that out on YouTube or the Odyssey app, or as I said, wherever you get your podcasts, rewind, fast forward, except for into the future, for that would be impossible. Coming up this hour, 15 minutes, we'll have Ross Smith. He's on the coverage tonight for the Timbers playoff game. I know I'm going to sneak a little soccer in here. We'll get to some NBA stuff as well.
Freaking NBA opens up as Blazers opening night, and you come in with your Timbers hat. We're going to talk Timbers today. I'm just like, and you're like, I'm going to murder you.
Well,
Swagalicious.
he hooked it up, dude.
Murder you.
Swaggy hooked it up, dude. And I wanted to give that to my dude. It's a big deal. It's a playoff game in Portland. I hear you.
That Timbers fans are so thrilled about.
And I know I am not going to the game for a reason, but I am going to,
And look, Timbers guys, I
I'll get the
love
high
you.
C's tonight and watch the game.
You're not feeling great.
No, we're not. I told Tyson I walked out at the 53rd minute when it was 3-0.
Ended up being 4.
And I didn't get to the I couldn't get to the bar before it was 4-0.
Yeah. It's not great. It's not
It was a
fun.
fun night for soccer though. I love when it rains and I'm not getting rained on.
That's right. Right?
Yeah. I always feel bad for athletes like that, but look, weather games are fun. You know, you want to watch a game at St. James Park for Newcastle?
Dude, flip on a December game in England.
Boxing Day in
It
Newcastle.
is just like they spend millions of dollars in that field and it just doesn't matter. It's just a mud hole.
I know. Well, would you rather play in a snowstorm or would you rather play in 100 degrees?
Oh, snow every single
every
time.
time.
Every single time.
Every time. Plus, I got one of the greatest things of life on right now, too.
Yeah, this game's a little closer than yesterday's.
Liverpool is on at noon, and good God, am I terrified. I'm terrified. We've lost 4 in a row.
Oh, wow. Hate to see it.
I hate all you guys. We'll get into a little bit of basketball. The top 5 most fascinating players in the NBA this season to watch. We'll get to that a little bit. But I wanted to sneak a little college football in here today and just kind of looking at the scene here of 2 lost teams. I think we can eliminate a lot of teams from the playoff.
Probably.
Already.
I mean, like my baby.
Yo, baby, gone.
The only way they do it is if they run the table. It's the only option they have.
A win at Autzen would be huge.
Yeah, I mean, they beat Oregon, which I don't think is going to happen. But if they did, and that their 2 losses were to Illinois on the road and Notre Dame on the road, they're in.
Yeah, I would think so.
The path is literally one path.
Yeah,
it's one path.
yeah.
So you can probably take them off the board.
They're cooked. I'll tell you, Michigan's cooked. I think Illinois is cooked.
If Michigan ran the table at 5-2, and they beat Ohio State at the end of the year, they would 100% be in.
USC loss is bad.
I mean, they got smacked.
Yeah.
But if you beat Ohio State at the end of the year, they're in. If they're if they have 2 losses and they beat Ohio State, they're in. 100%.
That would be one of the grossest teams to make the playoffs.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Like,
but they're not
nobody
keeping them
wants
out.
to watch.
But nobody again, USC has a better chance of running the table right now than Michigan. And USC does not have a good chance.
Does the Big 12 have a chance to get 2 teams in?
I heard Dirt say he thinks 1. I think 2.
Oh, did they talk about it?
Yesterday or the day before, they were talking about that. Yeah, and I
Because I
landed
think
on.
there's a lot of cool teams in the Big 12. I
Look,
don't know how many of them are
I
good.
think Brandon's BYU as long as they don't do what they did last year.
The Fighting Sucanics.
Yeah, like they can get it done. Bear Bachmeyer, bad intentions.
Bad intentions.
They're a good team. I think BYU Tech is probably. That's what you're looking at.
What does a healthy Levitt look like all year for Arizona State?
That's the other thing.
Too?
They're the dark horse. But again, Arizona State is Big 12's USC. They have to run the table.
Yeah.
They have to run the table.
I don't know if the Big 12 gets 2 in, but I want them to get 2 in.
I think
I think they have fun teams.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know if any of them are any good, but I think there's a lot of fun
But also,
teams.
look at last year, man. Arizona State makes that run,
That's
and they
true.
push Texas
They
to
should
the
have beat
brink.
Texas. Yeah. And then over in the ACC, I think they get 2 in.
Georgia Tech, Miami.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. With Clemson at the doorstep being a bottom feeder and Florida State falling apart, I think they got a real good
Go
shot.
5-5-2-2.
I think they got a real good shot.
Yeah, I can see that.
You slide over to the SEC. I'm going to go ahead and say I think
4-5-2-2.
I think Texas is cooked as a 2-loss
Yep.
team. I think LSU is cooked as a 2-loss team. I think Tennessee Volunteers as a 2-loss team are cooked. So that leaves me to ask you this question. What current 2-loss team do you believe can make the playoff? Because I don't know if there's any unless I go over to the Big 12.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Okay.
Because
fair.
their schedule
Fair,
just
but they're
do
the
that.
exception to the rule. They're going to get in every single year.
Yeah, with 2 losses, they'll get it.
They'll get in every single year at 2 losses.
I know how homerish I'm going to sound. I think of the 2-loss teams, I think it's SC.
Well, they got to beat Oregon.
But it's the biggest ask.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of their schedule is the rest of their schedule. You know what I mean? Like if you look at everybody else, you look at LSU's schedule, it's like, eh. You look at Texas's schedule, it's like, eh. You know what I mean? You start kind of going down the list. Utah maybe, if they've ran the table and won the Big 12 title game, that's probably it. It's a short list. Now,
They're a weird team this year.
they are, and I think Dampier, they go as far as Dampier goes.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they are, right? But how many of these other teams, when you kind of take a look at it, like Oklahoma's going to lose again,
I think so too.
and I think
they're vulnerable, and then they're out.
yeah, and then they're out.
Well, I don't know. Could Oklahoma be a 2-loss team that gets in? Because they're going to be there. Look, I don't
they
think
could, but they're looking at their schedule.
I don't think Ole Miss is going to lose another game.
See,
Do you
that's-
count the conference championship as a loss?
No. I'm
When
not
it's
taking
2
that out.
losses,
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah, no, 100%. Who does Vandy have left? Vandy has Missouri this week, then Texas, then Auburn, Kentucky, Tennessee.
That's an elimination game. Vandy, Missouri.
Yeah, that 100%.
Bye.
But so they have 3 top 25 opponents left. And they've got Missouri at home, Texas on the road, Tennessee at the road. Yeah, Vandy even went 1 loss. They're probably out because that's going to either Tennessee's going to play the disruptor or if Vandy ran the table, good Lord, that would be a hell of a season. They would have beat South Carolina, lost to Bama, beat LSU, Missouri, Texas, Tennessee, and you can't keep Vandy out there.
No, you can't.
100%.
No, you can't.
Honestly, if Vandy lost one of Missouri, Texas, Tennessee, and they were a 2-loss team, they'd get in.
I think they might get in too just because of the sexiness of it all. Dude, we live in a world where Indiana is the number 2 team in the nation. All right.
Vandy feels like Indiana-esque last year or Arizona State, and I don't know how much I really believe, but that quarterback, because last year Rourke is not as good as Mendoza.
Sure.
But Rourke was so good for them.
Dude, if Vandy gets in the plaweroots, people are going to root for Vandy unless they're playing your team.
Yes,
everyone will be rooting
just
for
like
them.
Indiana, just like Arizona State. Like if you were a Texas fan, you were pulling for Arizona State in that game.
You think Kurt Signetti gets the same thing?
Yes.
Because Pavia's likable. Signetti's kind of a jerk.
Not kind of. He is, and I love him.
Because
that's
that's
who
where
he is.
you and I differ.
Yeah.
I saw him yelling at that kid on the sidelines, and I was like, "Oh my god,
I love him.
he killed him!
Yeah. No, I love him.
He's dead.
It's
He
perfect. But
killed him."
I think honestly, the 2-loss teams that you're eliminating, I think there are the SEC teams.
I think so too.
Those are the ones you're like, you ain't got it, dog.
Yeah.
Because with LSU,
but we keep talking about that, them getting all the extra bids.
But the thing is, LSU, their offense is buns. Texas's offense is buns.
I don't know what that means, but I think it means garbage.
Yes.
Okay.
It's just Texas offense should be a lot better than they are. It should be a lot better than they are. It's not just Arch. The wide receivers have not showed up. The running backs have not showed up. The offensive line has not showed up. I mean, Florida was in that backfield endlessly against Texas.
Yeah.
And so there are
I want to see Texas lose 2 more games and watch that fan base go nuts.
Oh God.
Did you hear what Spurrier said about Texas? We'll get to that tomorrow. Some spicy stuff from the old ball coach. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. The two loss situation. I don't know where they're going to go. They're going to lean on the SEC, but does Oklahoma get that credit? I don't know. I don't know because they haven't looked good.
No. They look good in the first couple of weeks, but since Mateer's come back with the hand, and again, it's not a shot at Mateer.
Turns out a broken hand is pretty rough.
On your throwing hand.
All right, let's get out of here. When we come back, we'll have Ross Smith on he'll be on the Timbers call tonight in the playoff game. Swag was nice enough to hook me up with this. We'll chat with him about the Timbers. Do they have any life left going into the playoffs against Real Salt Lake tonight? We'll do that next. That's Danny. I'm Patrick. This is 105.1 The Fan. All right, a couple parties in Portland tonight. One at the Moda Center, but a big one, a biggie over at Providence Park, which is just up the street from our station right here. We are joined by Ross Smith, who will be on the call tonight for Apple TV. Ross, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us here in Portland. Welcome back to the city.
Thank you. It's like coming home, I feel like, with Portland. And thanks for having me on. Like you said, this is a big day. Big night.
Yeah, and I'll start right there with something kind of easy before we go into the dreaded game of the season for all Timbers fans here. You've played here. You are now in the booth. Talk to me about, from a former player's perspective, the evolution of Providence Park from the Timbers army to the fans to becoming Soccer City USA and maybe the best venue in all of the MLS.
Oh my God, I agree with you right there, and that's taken out all biases. The fact that I'm, a Timber player, and it's ingrained in me. But how it got to be here as well, it was always emerging to be that way, is the best venue. But where it started and the pitch that I played on, it had two different kinds of turf. The year I was playing on it, it had what was going to be MLS turf, and it had the old school AAA baseball turf. And you could actually see and feel the seam going right down the middle of the pitch. And you could also see home plate that was covered up for the bigger matches. I remember us doing a celebration with Bright DK. When he scored a goal, we said, if we score a goal, one of us has to pretend like we're stealing home. And it ended up being Bright DK. And we all got behind the plate as he scored, and he pretended like he was rounding third coming to home. So that's where it's come. And, in the grand scheme of things, it's come along pretty quickly in, what's that, 15 years ago. So it's always fun to look back. And, to look back, I feel as though that's another person ago when I was a player. But it always brings me back when you come in. And that's what Portland, it's the type of market that once you pull on that Timbers kit, you're always a part of it. That's what they make you feel. Through good times, bad times, there's a legacy. And I certainly felt that as a player. And it's only grown from there being a broadcaster.
Well, Ross, speaking of coming back to home, the Timbers are coming back and getting into this playoff atmosphere off of I don't know how to characterize this other than just saying a rough match, kind of limping in. As a former player, the momentum and kind of where you are going into the elimination rounds, as it were, in the playoffs. What's the mentality like, kind of trying to rebound out of that and getting into playoff mode?
I like what you said there, because it is limping in right now with the Timbers only one win in, was it the last 5 matches? I think the mentality is, and it's quite stark, the difference in mentality from the Portland Timbers dressing room to Salt Lake's. And I think the mentality for Portland is, none of that matters. We're here now. It's a one-off game. We have guys in our team that can go and change the game. In just a switch of one moment of brilliance, and all of a sudden it can go their way. That's the mentality they need to have. But 50 yards away in RSL's locker room, they're thinking, we need to build off the momentum. We need to ride this wave. Pablo Mastroeni, chatted with him this week, and he said, we're playing with house money. So there's a big difference. Teams are in a similar situation, have had a similar season, but the mindset couldn't be any more different. And for Portland to be able to say this is a club with a rich history, a club that have had big games, this needs to be another one of those. So the season doesn't matter. Let's put it aside.
He's Ross Smith, former player, and will be on the call tonight on Apple TV as the Timbers take on Real Salt Lake in the wild card. Let's get into the game tonight. Look, goals have been a struggle for the Timbers all season long. Well, maybe not all season. The first half of the season feels like a completely different team than what's going on right now. The player you expect to make the impact tonight, is it a DaCosta on the offense? Is it Felipe Mora needs to start? Kind of a situation where, who do you find to be the big access player tonight?
It's got to be the face of the franchise. And, to your point, the Timbers scored 24 less goals this season than last year. And granted, you're without Jonathan Rodriguez Evander, who has had another terrific year over in Cincinnati.
Thanks for reminding us.
I know. I'm with you, because, for Evander, you think if you plopped Evander back into this Timbers team, I think it turns the light switch on for so many other players around them, like a Kelsey, I think you get his relationship with Mora. Like, Mora just hasn't had a relationship with anybody. DaCosta hasn't been what you hoped he would be, the replacement for Evander. But to answer your question, it's got to be him. It's got to be the Portuguese attacker to come in and all of a sudden light up Providence Park. Do I expect it to happen? Given the season he's had, it's tough to see, but it needs to be the face of the franchise. And a couple of moments that he's had this year, you say, well, that's why they brought him in, because he's got a flash of something different. When he gets on the ball and he drives, it does get you edge of your seat type stuff. But he needs to take it on. He needs to go into tonight saying we're going to live and die by my performance tonight. If we're going to go through, it's going to be because I'm going to show Portland why they brought me in, why I'm the big name. Will it happen? It's difficult to see, but I don't know who else it would come from. Felipe Mora knows all about the history, but he hasn't scored in quite a few games. I think we're at 20 games or so. He hasn't scored in a while. Mora, I think on his day, is one of the sneakiest strikers in the league. I think his movement's terrific. I think his hold-up play is one of the best, but his legs just haven't been there. Can he turn back the clock to a year ago, the form he showed? The goal he scored in 2021, I was in the stadium then as a fan watching it. Can Mora have one of those moments? So one of those two guys, I think, is the obvious and needs to be the choice of who's going to make the difference.
Ross, kind of expanding off what you talked about there a little bit earlier, we were talking about them limping in and the moments of brilliance and who's going to kind of step up for them. If you look at this Timbers team tonight, how is it that they're actually going to pull off this win? Is this an absorb RSL for as long as you can and spring the counter? Is this try to possess? Is this try to be super aggressive? What if you're trying to attack this match? How do the Timbers win this tonight?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it's to stick to what you are. And it's funny, all the years that I've been so close to Portland, and even times under different managers like Gio wanted them to become more possessed type team that builds and break down. It's never been. The Portland Timbers style has always been run and gun. The players that have come in, from Diego Valeri to Blanco, that's their style. They're gamblers, and they need to do that again tonight. I think a big, on the defensive side of it, what we'll be anticipating waiting to see right when we get the team sheet is Finn Sermon in the lineup, because then you can hold down the fort a lot better than what they've shown without him. So if Sermon's in there, you've got your base a lot stronger, and then you can go and excite and play on the break. I think they need to do that, because RSL, I'm anticipating they're going to have the ball. They're a better possessing team. When they beat Portland in Portland earlier in the season, they scored a late match winner. They controlled the ball. They controlled the game. So Portland, that's not them. But they need to make sure that when they do win it, they're better with it, and they need to hurt RSL when they get it.
All right, Ross, we'll get you out on this. You know this club, you know this city, and patience has been a little thin this year, I would say, not to speak for all the fans, but I think that is a general sentiment for everybody. Should the Timbers lose tonight, what's the future look like for Grabavoy and Neville?
Well, I think that exact narrative is now starting to come into the conversation, which I think it goes a long way to how last season ended. And you're starting to talk about that disappointing result last year at Vancouver. And really, it's been the last couple of years when, do or die, game on the line, where prior to that, that's when the Timbers of great have come alive. When, it's the backs against the wall and they come out and they become a different beast. It's actually gone away from that the last couple of years. And so with that comes the Neville, the Grabavoy. What happens? Look, it's a market that demands success. If those two names were in a different market, I think they would, that wouldn't even be brought up. They need more time, because you're in the market that you're in right now, demanding success. I never like to say the negative end, but I can imagine there's going to be an immense amount of pressure. And who does that pressure fall on? Is it the players that have been brought in? Are the players, have they amounted to what their talent level is, or is their talent not at the level of the Timbers of old? Those are the questions that are going to be asked, and it sounds like they are being presented to them from the Timbers the Timbers faithful, the Timbers supporters.
He's Ross Smith. He's on the call tonight on Apple TV. Check out the playoff game against Real Salt Lake. Ross, have a great call tonight and enjoy being back in Portland. Do something fun for yourself, all right?
Will do. Great to hear you guys. Enjoy the game tonight. Thanks so much for having me on.
Thanks,
Ross.
you. That is Ross Smith. Check that out. Timbers tonight. Look, I'm going to push this narrative. I love this team a lot. And I loved his insight. I thought it was fantastic. It's going to be a real tough hill to climb. I mean, Tyson said it earlier when we were talking to him earlier as well, that goals are not easily come by this team. And unfortunately, goals are what win games.
Yeah, what are we going to do
Ball go in net.
after this segment, though? Because the accent just classes the place up in a way that we can't.
Oh, dude, no.
It's just, when you've got it, you got it, man. And it's just,
You got it.
It's tough, man.
He's
It's
got
like,
it.
sitting here listening to him, I'm like, I can listen to this guy talk all day.
I like the Timbers story he told about two different turfs.
Yeah.
That is the most Portland Timbers.
Yeah.
Like Beaver Stadium to what is now Providence Park.
Yeah.
Story I've heard in a long time. All right, we'll get out of here on this. We'll toss it over to Rust with Sports when we come back. The top 5 most fascinating players in the NBA for you walking into this season. Any Blazers on that list? You can send yours in 503-864-6326. There's Rust with Sports.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on The Fan, the Trailblazers begin their 2025-26 campaign tonight, hosting Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves. Edwards, though, is questionable with back spasms. Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups announcing his starting lineup yesterday. Drew Holiday, Shaden Sharp, Tumani Kamara, Denny Avdia, and Donovan Clingan. It's a 7 o'clock tip on 2.2 on your antenna or Xfinity Channel 302. The Blazers are 4-point dogs. ESPN begins their portion of the season this evening as well. 4 o'clock from Madison Square Garden. It's the Knicks hosting the Cavaliers, who had the best record in the East last season. Cleveland are 1.5-point favorites. And then at 6:30 from Dallas, number 1 overall pick Cooper Flagg making his Mavericks debut. They host Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs. The Mavs are 2.5-point favorites. Over in the NFL, Buccaneers head coach Todd Bowles says running back Bucky Irving and wide receiver Chris Godwin are out Sunday against the Saints. Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels, he's been ruled out Monday night against the Chiefs due to a hamstring strain. Marcus Mariota will get the start. And Jets quarterback Tyrod Taylor, who took over in the second half of Sunday's loss to the Panthers after Justin Fields was benched, he is now considered day-to-day with a knee injury. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for the Oregon Ducks, the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
next, we'll do Web Gems, everybody's favorite, at 11:45. A big shout out to Ross Smith joining us on the call for the game tonight. I wish I was going to the game, but I kind of used my card on Saturday, and I don't
why
know
would you
if
do
I
that?
have that in me. I don't know, because it was a Saturday, and I got to like hang out with my boys. Extracurricular drinks, you know what I mean? It's a school night tonight.
It's a day that ends in Y. Like,
It's a
that's never
school night.
stopped you.
I didn't drink yesterday that much.
There you go.
I got rusty on the way out. So we'll do Web Gems, a funny story from college football, and then we'll spend a lot of time on the Blazers in the Big Nooner, so stick around for that. But as we do transition to the NBA, hey, you know what? There was some good basketball played last night.
Really good basketball.
I really enjoyed
look,
watching basketball last night.
OKC Houston, man, that was the game that I was locked into. I said it was going to be fun. It's going to be good.
I really thought Houston was going to take that game, too. I really did. That Durant fit might be nicer than we even think, and we think it's going to be nice.
He's good.
It's not just that he's good. He's exactly what that team
They
needs.
need a go-to scorer, and it
Yeah.
alleviated so much for Alper and Şengün. And Şengün,
Şengün, it was a baller.
monster.
Yeah, I was really excited. The NBA couldn't have started off in a better way last night. The champs claw their way back. That SGA guy is still pretty good.
The parade to the free throw line still bothers me. It's always gonna bother me because he grifted 4 or 5 times last night, where I was like, all right, dog.
You know, maybe I need to watch more basketball because I don't pick it up as much because I feel like I see it happen with other people.
It's a skill.
It wasn't until Doris Burke called it out that everybody picked on SGA for it because I've seen it on James Harden.
Yeah.
Dude, Karl Malone made a living off doing that.
Dude, Dame did. Dame and I have had this discussion about how he was like, I had to start doing it because if I didn't do it, I was at a loss.
Yeah.
You have to. A grifting is a skill.
It's a fundamental flaw in the referee.
Yes. Tumani Kamara is a grifter in a different sense. He led the NBA in charges taken. If I remember right, he took more charges by himself than 24 other teams. Like, grifting is a skill. It really is. I don't like that it is. You can talk about soccer and the flopping. It's a skill. Like,
it is.
acting like you got shot by a sniper when somebody actually didn't touch you.
And it's a fine line.
And it's like, oh, God. And the thing is, like, you get the the thing that bothers me the most is the arm spread eagle. And you see the replay, and it's like, yeah, he ripped the ball out of your hands.
I need the Wilhelm scream there.
Yeah, it's just that's the stuff that bothers me the most. But when you get somebody reaching because you get them off balance, like Luka, it doesn't bother me. When SGA does it because he hits that D-cell and guys reach, doesn't bother me. It's the extracurricular crap that always bothers me.
I asked the question, some of the top 5 players that are the most fascinating to you in the NBA season. And what kind of brought that up to me is, LeBron's getting old and he's starting hurt. Jason Tatum, who's a top guy in the league, he's out. Tyrese Halliburton, everybody's favorite villain, he's out. Damian Lillard, nice guy, comes home, he's out. So it feels like there's kind of like a door open to put some story. Who knows what goes on with Kawhi? And so I wanted to ask that question. I think there's a lot of ways we can go with this. You can go with some Blazers stuff. But I'll start first. It's game number 2 for me is Jimmy Butler. Does this Warriors team have one more run left in them? Because I thought Butler was fantastic last night. And he admitted that he has a bet with Steph Curry about who has a better free throw percentage at the end of the year. And he said, I don't think it's a bad bet, but it's probably a bad bet.
Yeah.
So I'm fascinated. A full year of Jimmy Butler in Golden State. Do they have another run for them? Because this team is different than what it was. What was it, 3-4 years ago when they won their last title?
Yeah, not only that, that game last night, the Warriors, that Warriors team is going to present challenges to basically everybody in the NBA because of how they play, because they are so big agnostic. When everybody else is going bigger, they're like, we don't really have that. We're not that big. We're not that strong. We're not that athletic. But what we have is the greatest shooter of all time. We have one of the biggest a-holes of all time in Jimmy Butler. And I mean that in like the highest of praise.
I thought you were talking about Draymond Green.
Oh, no. No, I love Jimmy. And to be fair, I love Dre. I always have.
I like all those guys.
The only thing about Dre that has ever really bothered me is the fake leg kicking and I can't control my limbs thing and then pretending like you can't when you're one of the most elite athletes on the face of the planet. Please stop doing that. You were incredible. You're a first ballot Hall of Famer. Don't be a chump. But for me, when you talk about the 5 guys that I'm interested in the most, a lot of them are, you kind of alluded to, the next era of guys. Not in any particular order. One of them played last night, Amen Thompson. Amen Thompson, to me, is one of my 5 most interesting players in the NBA, hands down. He is even better than I thought he would be. We talked about him a little bit yesterday, about him kind of being even more advanced athletically, Andre Iguodala. You saw him last night get to the rim at will. You also saw him miss every single three.
And that could just be a bad night.
It's not. He can't shoot. I love him. He can't shoot. Now, he's gotten better, but his better is one of the worst shooters in the league to not quite the worst shooter in the league. Like, you want to see the improvement, but it's not full on Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, but it's also not Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. You know what I mean? It's Ronnie Brewer. It's like you watch him shoot and it's painful to watch. It's like, how are you so athletic and yet your jumper is that broken?
503-864-6326 is the fan text line. I'd like to read some of yours. Bring them in. One texter, Anthony Edwards, feels like a make or break year for this version of the T-Wolves. I wonder if the T-Wolves are one of the more pressured teams in the West.
Yeah, they lost stuff and didn't get anything to it.
Yeah, they're not better, and they clearly had some deficiencies last year. I think Anthony Edwards makes another step this year. The talent, the raw ability is starting to come together, and I think he will be better, but I don't know if that's enough. He's a great call, and it's not just because his game is so fun, but it's how does his game affect the rest of that team?
He truly is great. You know, the take that I've mentioned before, 2+ years ago, I had a front office executive ask me, okay, you're building a team. You have a choice between Tyrese Halliburton and Ant Edwards. Who do you take? And I go, I know the answer is Ant Edwards for most people. Give me Hallie. And that's not revisionist history. You can go back and check the tape. I've always been a Hallie guy. There's something intrinsic about him. We saw it in the finals before he goes down. We saw him in the playoffs, leading into the playoffs. And like his ability to elevate a team without being a guy that scores 30 it's Steve Nashian. It's Chris Paulian. Like it's very, very, very unique in how he plays the game and how he's able to elevate teammates. And I think it ties into exactly what you said about Ant Edwards. How does he elevate the guys around him? They lose Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who was a big part of what they did. Offensively, or not offensively, contractually, they end up paying Naz Reid. They pay guys on the roster, and all of a sudden you look at the rosters, like they can't do anything. They're
stuck.
They need Terrence Shannon to be a guy. Like they need young guys to step up.
Rudy is expensive.
Yeah, they need Dillingham to step up because he was a guy they traded up for and gave up assets for to go get him. Like they need those guys that they have. Like you talk about the Blazers and how the guys that they have like need to step up. It's not need to step up like it is with Minnesota because they're thin. And the guys that they have to have step in, they have to step in because there's real pressures, real implications for what they've been because they've been to back-to-back Western Conference Finals. Ant would probably be on the edge of that for me because I think I know what Ant is. I think
I do too.
Ant's a top 10, top 12 player in the NBA. And can he get into the top? I've seen people put him in the top 5. It's Luka, it's Jokic, it's Giannis. Those three are those are the 3 best players on the planet. And then you swap in either SGA or it's the international guys. Like for me, Ant is not there yet. Before Tatum got hurt, you could make an argument for Tatum like ahead of those guys. And like it's fine. I'm not besmirching Ant. He's very good. But he's not in that level yet.
One guy we'll see tonight that is probably, my number one most fascinating that's not a Blader's Cooper Flagg.
Yes.
That's an obvious. And it's not just the number 1 draft pick. It's the prodigy. It's how does he fit in Dallas? Can Dallas somehow still be competitive despite trading away the greatest player in basketball right now at Luka Doncic?
And man, was he good last night.
That team is bad. Side note, I think the Lakers are bad.
Here's the thing: they're
enjoy domination.
Their top end talent in Luka and LeBron, unreal. Austin Reeves is a good player, but he gets the prestige zone bump because he's a Laker. He's a good player. He's not great, but the rest of that roster doesn't make any sense. And DA I think will help them in some aspects, but also kind of going to what I was talking about with the Warriors. The Warriors just they take conventional type centers and put them in blenders. Because they play these weird lineups, right? Cooper Flagg is on that list for me, top 5. Excuse me, he would be if I was going to rank them, he would be number 2 on my list. I'm gonna go to the very top right now because the most interesting player in the league to me, and this is the guy who has the argument to be in the top 5 this year, and it's terrifying. It's Wemby. Wemby could legitimately be an MVP this year.
He could. Do we pencil him in for Defensive Player of the Year already?
Yes. Yeah. If he plays 65 games, it's done. It's over. He's the most impactful defender in the history of the NBA.
That's why tonight's game is so fascinating. Like I'm stoked for Dallas and San Antonio to get it. 3 of the best teams in the NBA might be in Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm probably not there with the Mavs, but if Kyrie were healthy, dude, I'd be all in on the Mavs.
Look, San Antonio, Wemby said it out loud and said it like he said some version of everybody wants to talk about playoffs and they don't really want to be specific. He goes, I want to be specific. We don't want to play in. We were a playoff team, which means top 6. And if let's say the Spurs finish 5th and Wemby averages 25, 12, 4, 3, and 2, which he probably will. He'll probably put up. I have like one of those. I want to find somebody to take the bet because I have a genuine belief that Victor Wembanyama will be the first player to ever have a quintuple double.
You'll take the bet.
Because this is a guy that is a walking 25 and 12.
He really is.
He can get 10 blocks, he can get 10 steals, and he can get 10 assists.
He's built unlike anybody else to ever play basketball.
They finally bumped his height up to 7'5". He's closer to 7'6". He's one of the largest, rangiest, most mobile humans. Not one of. He's the most mobile, rangy human I've ever seen at that kind of size. It doesn't make sense. I've made this call to action to any Blazers fan before. If you are going to go to any single game this year, go to Blazers, Spurs, see Wemby in person. There is nothing like it. There's nothing like it you will ever see. It is unreal to see that dude play basketball live.
503-864-6326 on the Blazer home front. We'll do that real quickly. Tumani thrown out there. Number one thing I'm interested in, does he have the juice offensively? My number one guy for the Blazers is, in my mind's easy. It's Shaedon.
Yeah, 100%.
Mine's Shaedon easily, maybe for different reasons than you. I love it when he dunks, so I just get really excited about that.
Him and Zion are the best dunkers in the NBA.
And I just want to see, I really like Ja Morant as a dunker, but apparently he doesn't do that anymore. No. It's Shaedon for me, and I mean in a positive way. I expect him to make this jump. We'll get into more Blazers on the Big Nooner, but he's my guy that I'm watching this year with a little bit of Denny. Well, no, I'm not saying that. My guy's Clingan. I got to stick to my dude.
Okay.
And a little bit of Donovan Clingan is just minutes. Donovan's an easy one. Can you just get minutes? Because I see the bones there. I see what you're trying to get at, and I want you to be a dominating rebounder, but I need you on the court.
For me, it's going to be a hybrid. It's going to be Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero. All right, Magic. No Celtics.
Yeah.
No Bucks. East is wide open. You added Desmond Bane.
The Knicks are exactly the same.
Step up. Step up. Be those guys.
Ooh.
Be those guys.
It is a wild NBA year.
It is. But gun to my head, if I had to pick Paulo or Franz, I'm on the outside. And this is not my contrarian take. This is just my basketball brain. It's the same thing with like Hallie and Ant. I know everybody's answer is Ant, blah, blah, blah. It's fine. For my basketball brain, give me Franz over Paulo. And I know how crazy that sounds.
Wow.
But there is something that
Write
Franz
this down.
Look, there's something that Franz has that Paulo doesn't seem to have at times. And if they can find that they both have it at the same time with Desmond Bane working as a floor spacer, Jalen Suggs returns as a shooter, that Magic team can be a real problem. Or a real problem. And then the last one I'd throw in here is Evan Mobley with the Cavs.
Ooh.
Evan Mobley, again, USC bias notwithstanding, I think if Wemby didn't exist, we'd be talking about him in a very different manner. He is a defensive player of the year. Like he's got
he
one.
already won it.
Congratulations, Evan. You got the one that you're going to get while Wemby's active. And to everyone else, if Wemby is active, like Wemby might be the guy that breaks the mold of narrative for Defensive Player of the Year. Because if he plays 65 games, you cannot make an argument that anybody is more impactful or more valuable defensively than him.
Well, it's not fair. He cheats how big he is.
It just doesn't matter. Like the oh dams that he creates. And by that, I mean, oh, damn, I can't take this shot. Oh, damn, I can't drive. Oh, damn, he jumped that passing lane. Like the stuff that he does, and I've talked to other players that have played against him have all said the same thing. It's unlike anything they've ever seen. Mobley would have been that in a lesser extent because of how rangy and athletic and how high his defensive IQ is. Cavs are number one with a bullet in the East of you better get to the Eastern Conference Finals and acquit yourself, and you should damn well, health permitting, be in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, you should be in the finals. Cleveland should be in the finals.
Yeah. So
weird stuff
again,
happens.
if you're noticing a trend, it's a lot of young guys of like, hey, Steph's aging out, Braun's aging out, KD's aging out, Tatum's hurt. Like
even kind of Giannis sometimes feels like he's aging out.
I still think he's one of the three best players in the league.
I do too. But you're starting to see it. He's even talking about it.
Yeah, I mean the whole family moving to Greece stuff and everything kind of comes along with that. But I am looking at the next generation of guys, and if you notice with everybody that I picked, they're all big.
Size matters. Size matters.
Don't let them lie to you. Size matters.
When we come back, we'll hit Web Gems, a little bit of college football, and then in the Big Nooner, we'll get to some more Blazers. Stick with us. That's Danny. I'm Patrick. 105.1 The Fan.
Sometimes it's good.
Aw, I've interrupted happy time.
Sometimes it's bad.
No, son of a...
It's Web Gems,
What'd you do?
the firm of Harris and Meringue on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 and 1080 The Fan.
All right, this is Web Gems, everybody's favorite. Do it every single day at 11:45. Coming up on the Big Nooner, get into some Blazers talk. I don't know if you guys know, they're playing basketball tonight. It counts. Take a peek at season expectations for the Blazers, also season realities. I'd like to split those into two separate situations. Plus Michael Jordan, the greatness, the great one. He was on TV last night, looking high and in charge. He said some interesting things I'd like to chat about, but we will spend a heavy part of the Big Nooner on the Blazers as the NBA season for them tips off tonight at the Moda Center. The T-Wolves in town. The Timberwolves. I kind of wish I was going tonight just because I want to see Ann Edwards.
Tumani's boy.
Tumani's boy?
They play together at Georgia.
He's Tumani's dad?
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, it's the other way around.
Oh, Ant's Tumani's dad?
I had Ant on the pod a couple months ago, and I asked him, who's the guy? Who's the guy that you love playing? And he just little. If you've ever seen two in his interviews when he kind of cocks his head to the side a little bit and gets a little wry smile, he's like, Ant.
Old
It's
Tumani.
Ant. I imagine in practices with old Tom Crean that those two probably went at it quite a bit.
I hate Tom Crean.
I love him. He's gonna
not
get
here for it.
you gotta have to pull that back because old Coach Crean's gonna join the show.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'm fascinated to talk to him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think I've just always rooted against him.
Yeah.
I don't know if I dislike him. I think I just rooted against him all
no,
the time. Those Marquette
I would
teams
say
were really good.
those
though.
are some of my favorite college basketball teams ever.
I think it's the Indiana stuff that gets me, I think that's kind of what it
Green,
is.
Green
that-
told me he's gonna hop on this year.
Oh, okay.
So-
fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I look forward to that. Web Gems today is brought to you by the great state of Utah. Fans, first of all, BYU fans stormed the field beating Utah. Really? Was that necessary?
It's Holy War, man.
Yeah, but was
No,
that
no, no, no.
necessary?
It's Holy War.
You're ranked ahead of them.
Man, it's Holy War.
I'm going to push back on that.
Fine,
you
because
can't
you're
rush the
a
field.
nerd.
You can't rush the field when you are favored against.
Are
the
you a
team.
top 25 team? Are they a top 25 team? Is it a big game?
Yeah, but you're way
Is it also
ahead
your
of them.
Is it also your hated rival?
Yeah, but you're way ahead of them.
Celebrate
though.
it.
You're expected to win.
Celebrate it. Where's is Brandon over there?
No, he's
say-
outside doing
I
stuff.
say we got to get his perspective on this. We got to get the BYU alum on this.
The Big 12 dropped a $50,000 fine on BYU on the students for rushing the field.
Nerds.
But it was okay because everyone was happy once they found out the CEO, Jason McGowan of Crumble Cookie, is personally paying the fine himself.
There you go.
I love it.
Tax write-off.
I love it. He was just like, yo, man, this is what we do here.
I'll tell you right now. We talked about Stanford and the endowment that they have. BYU has plenty of money.
Oh, yeah.
Plenty of money. And I'm not even just talking about from the church. I'm talking about their donors. AJ DeBonsa didn't just end up at BYU just for S's and giggles. He got a nice $7 million check, and it just so happened that Danny Ainge and Ryan Smith wrote it.
Yeah, I think it's something interesting, not to get too wild on religion in college football, but like never underestimate the power of those schools that are so deeply entrenched in their faith. Notre Dame is one of them. And, their money, they've got money for football. BYU is one of them. They got money for football. Never forget that. It's
The
something-
private schools have plenty of money.
Yeah, I think it's something to easily overlook, especially in religious institutions, because it is so much more family.
Look,
like
James Madison.
Yeah,
they've got money.
the BYU kids, they got a lot of Coug in them, of like, hey, go Cougs, hey, go Cougs. You all kind of stick together. Anyway, I thought that
Do
was
all
fascinating.
Cougs stick together?
We do.
All Cougs across all boards?
No,
No?
no.
You're not,
just the Pullman variety.
You're not kicking it with
Pullman, Spokane, Tri-Cities, Vancouver.
You're not kicking it with BYU or Houston?
Now I'm out.
That's Cougar Party.
Now we're the first ones.
Are you?
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm just going to claim it.
Okay. I was
Blindly.
I'm going to say Houston probably has dibs.
Do you think we'll see this more in college football of companies stepping in, the donors, the rich alumni saying $50K for BYU? I got you, boys.
Here or there? Sure. But I mean, look, you know what else they're getting out of this? Crumble Cookie's getting a nice little pub.
Without a doubt.
Find me $50,000 better spent on free PR.
Can't.
Because look, and this is me tooting my own horn. I did
Orange chicken tonight at the Moda Center.
I will tell you this. I got paid to do a ad read for a cable company a couple years ago. And when I got the email of "Would you do this for this amount of money?" I thought it was fake.
Thought you were being trolled?
I was like, "There's no way." I checked the email, I checked the LinkedIn, I checked, Googled the company that was doing it all, and I went, "You're gonna pay me how much to do how little?" I'm sorry, what? So yeah, $50,000 for this off of what I got to do that. Yeah, they're getting a lot more bang for their buck.
All right, when we come back, we'll get to the big nooner, back into Blazers as they open the season tonight against the T-Wolves. We'll go expectations, realities. I'd love to hear your thoughts, 503-864-6326, or over on the YouTube chat where we've been talking basketball all day over there. So hang out with us. One more to go, 105.1 The Fan.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Jeff Rust with your Sports Center update. First on the Fan, the Trailblazers begin their 2025-26 campaign tonight, hosting Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards, though, is questionable with back spasms. Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups announcing his starting lineup yesterday. It'll be Drew Holiday, Shaedon Sharpe, Toumani Camara, Denny Avdia, and Donovan Clingan. 7 o'clock tip on Channel 2.2 on your antenna or Xfinity Channel 302. The Blazers are 4.5-point dogs. That ESPN begins their portion of the season this evening as well. 4 o'clock from Madison Square Garden. It's the Knicks hosting the Cavaliers. Cleveland had the best record in the East last season and are 1.5-point favorites. Then at 6:30 from Dallas, number 1 overall pick Cooper Flagg making his Mavericks debut as they host Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs. The Mavs are 2.5-point favorites. Over in the NFL, Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels ruled out Monday night against the Chiefs due to a hamstring strain. Marcus Mariota will get the start. Buccaneers head coach Todd Bowles says running back Bucky Irving and receiver Chris Godwin are out Sunday against the Saints. And Jets quarterback Tyrod Taylor, who took over in the second half of Sunday's loss to the Panthers after Justin Fields was benched. Taylor is considered day-to-day with a knee injury. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Recruiting with Andrew Nemec, Thursday evenings at 7 after Isaac and Souk on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
All right, 2 down, 1 to go for us. After us, you will get Ducks Insider with Joey Mack from 1 to 2. Fan Happy Hour with Luke Anderson from 2 to 3, and then is Prime Time, baby, from 3 to 7. Take you all the way home to wrap up 13 hours of continuous, live, local, regional sports talk radio here at the Fan Sports Network. We are number 1, and don't you forget it. This hour, we're chatting Blazers. It's Zers time tonight, Rusty. You're ready for it?
And you ruined it already.
Get some za and some Zers and mark it down for you,
Turn
brother.
the mic off. You can do it.
You can.
You can do it.
If you turn my mic off, I'll just leave. I'll just go home. That'd be great. Take an hour off early. Call it a day. Beat traffic.
Just flip it back on every now and then.
Just extra time at the bar ski.
But it's not the weekend.
No, I don't think I'm going to drink tonight. I'm worried I'm getting sick.
That much.
I'm worried I'm getting sick.
Mhm.
I woke up at like 3 a.m. and
You do have germ carriers, so.
I do. I got 4 of them.
Yeah, and it is that time of year. Stay the hell away from me.
Yeah, I got 4 of them. It's not good. It's not good. But let's dive into this. Blazers season expectations. Where
God,
do you want to?
I swapped one co-host with a wife that's a teacher for another co-host with a wife that's a teacher. That
Yeah, man.
brings that crap in here every day.
Sorry, dude.
God dang, I didn't even think about that.
Just trying to make you stronger, man.
God,
I actually won't get sick because I rarely do. I'll be here every day, dude. Every
Now, if you're
day.
sick, keep your butt home.
Haunting your dreams
Keep it
every
home.
day.
I already have to deal with 20,000 people in the arena 41 times a year in that locker room freaking germ tube. Once it gets in there, it just never gets out until like March. It's brutal.
Blazer expectations as the season opens up tonight against the Timberwolves at the Moda Center in town. And let's start here in expectations. Let's do team as a whole, okay? Season expectations, right? One thing that I absolutely love, Danny, that you and I has kind of been a theme of this show, no matter what sport we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite part about the Blazer team going into this year is that they have an identity.
Mm-hmm.
The identity is defense and youth.
Ooh, defense.
Defense.
Not defense.
Defense. Yeah. Like the fence. Defense.
Mm-hmm.
Is defense and a youth movement.
Mm-hmm.
And I, for one, I don't know. We were talking earlier about some of those other teams in the NBA. I don't know what the Pelicans' identity is. I don't know what the Hornets' identity is. Shooting the ball, I guess, is kind of fun in Charlotte, but I don't quite know what their identity is. I know what the Blazers are. It starts with Toumani and Drew Holiday up top, and can the rest of the guys meld into that and continue to put pressure on teams.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I had a question. I did a podcast Monday night. I had a question about what are the things you've seen that have given you feel good about or you have concerns about coming out of the preseason. It's neither. I don't feel good, nor do I have concerns ever in preseason, because preseason is an entirely different beast. You're trying to get your legs under you, trying to get some rapport, you're trying to get some understanding.
Look, there's basketball in November that nobody cares about. You tell me people care about preseason?
Well, I mean, look, I'm looking for certain things, but it's not output. It's never box score. It's never any of those things. It's like, how do you go about things? And one of the things that I thought was really interesting is the Blazers kind of dial back some of the defensive pressure at some times last year, where this year, so far in the preseason, they're picking up at 80 feet, like minimum. This is where they're doing it all game. And it's not just two. Now you've got Drew Holiday. Now Chris Murray. Matisse Thybulle is going to be healthy, and he's going to be out there. Like you have got four guys in those guys, in Drew, to Matisse, and Chris, who are absolute demons to screen. It's so fun to watch those guys. They are so, like, you watch their hand placement and how they kind of chuck screeners and turn their shoulders and turn their hips so that they aren't square to guys. They don't get caught. They don't get stuck. And when you're dealing with that for 100 possessions a night, you're just like, all right, dog, can you get the hell out of here? Like, even if you don't
piss you off enough that you make mistakes and you just in your head.
You may not get a turnover every single time. Sometimes you may get beat. And I asked Chauncey.
We talk about this with Iowa. Like, you're going to go into an Iowa football game and you can get your ass beat, whether you win or not.
You're not going to feel good about
it. You're not
going
to feel good walking out. And if the Blazers can maintain
perfect
that
example.
For 82.
Remember going into the Oregon game, a bunch of Oregon fans like, well, Indiana only beat Iowa 20-15. Yeah. And guess what happened?
They hurt afterwards.
Yeah. But to deviate, when Oregon goes to Iowa, prepare.
It's gonna hurt.
Prepare. You may slaughter them, but you're not going to enjoy any bit of it. And that's what I think. That's what Chauncey Billups has told me. When a team comes into this building, they want them to look at the schedule and go, crap, these guys. You may think you're going to win, but you're not going to feel good about it. Like, and that's the thing I want to see.
We talked about it in the first hour. I think if you look at this team, and we can make win-loss predictions if you want. I think if you're looking at win-loss projection for this team, I don't know if that's the best way to look at it. I think the best way to look at this team is development. It's context. It's our guys progressing and our guys getting into a point where they are fluid together. Or is the core three, whenever Scoot comes back, hopefully sooner than later, but don't be shocked if it's New Year's Day. I wouldn't be shocked if it's that long. Hammies are a B.
I think it's around Christmas. That's where I've kind of landed.
So I'm looking context is a great way to put it. I'm looking to see how these guys gel together. I want to know, can Time Lord get out there and show some old man tendencies to the young kids? How does Drew operate with a bunch of kids that are literally kids? I'm excited to see that. How does he operate in a non-title or bust situation? Because this is new for him for a while.
Yeah, no, because he had that obviously in Milwaukee and then with Boston. Looking at this team, Shaedon gets the starting job, and look, congrats to him. I said before.
Yeah, let's get into that. You said I believe
I said 60-40. I was leaning towards Jeremy. Now coming into camp into preseason, everything I was told, it was Jeremy's starting job.
So what do you think changed then? What does Chauncey do to change that?
I think that where it happened is where we didn't see it in practice, because Shaedon didn't look great in games. The first game he looked really good. No doubt in the first game Shaedon looked good. Every other game. A lot of mixed bag. He had a couple halves in there where he was bad. And I'm not talking about production. I'm talking about the mental stuff, like being engaged, stuff like that. But you know what I did see from him? The aggression level, even when he waned, he came back out and bumped it back up. Where in the past, when he would kind of wane and fall back, that's what you got. So maybe he's learning that. Maybe that's coming there. I made the point the other day about him defensively. I don't expect him to be a all defensive team member. But I expect him to use his gifts and his tools to be impactful. And like we were talking about with Chris, Matisse, and Drew picking up, I saw Shaedon doing some of that. And I saw him gambling in passing lanes. Like, if you're not going to be a plus defender, be a plus disruptor. Be a plus effort guy. There are ways that you can overcome that, because I asked Chauncey Billups about, how do you coach this defense when you've got three guys in Drew, and Tease that are all defensive members, and throw in Rob there too. But those three guys at the point of attack, that not only do they have the propensity to freestyle, they have the leash to freestyle. Tease is one of the most unique defenders in the entire NBA. He does stuff that nobody else can do. like trail blocks, getting around screens and blocking guys from behind, jumping passing lanes and baiting guys. Drew does that more physically. Now, 2 is not as nearly as disruptive in the box score, but his physicality at the point of attack and when he will be physical and when he will push up and when he will jump over screens. Sometimes those guys will, quote unquote, violate rules. Mm-hmm. And you have to have guys on a string behind that to be able to compensate for that and make it work. That's one of the things that I'm watching for. But if you're talking about predictions and where this team is at and where they're going, I've said pretty strictly that I think they win roughly the same amount of games, 36 games. I think I'm going to bump it up to 38 because I think that the West is going to be pretty compressed. I've heard Dirt and Sprague talk about play in or bust. I think it's context dependent because 38 wins could be 11th, 38 wins could be 9th. They could win 41. Like when you talk about margin of victory,
how bad
in the
is
NBA,
the bottom too? Like how bad is the bottom?
Like, I think Utah is going to be putrid.
But what is putrid? Is putrid 35 wins?
Oh, no.
Or is
I'm
putrid
18.
22 wins?
18 to 22.
Yeah.
I think Utah is going to be putrid. I think the Pelicans are going to be putrid. I think the Kings are going to be really bad because even with the talent that they have, they don't make any sense. And I don't believe in the Suns because they're going to lean on Jalen Green, and that's not good for you.
Yeah, one last little thing about the starting lineup, and then we'll get into kind of realities of what to actually expect despite what we want to happen. Back to the Shaedon starting thing, and this... You know, I'm definitely a little more critical of Chauncey Billups than most from a head coaching standpoint. I think a lot of it is just kind of first time doing it, and it take lumps paging Dan Wilson. I almost, and this might be the closest to a knock that I put on Shaedon, but I don't think it's Shaedon's fault necessarily. I almost wonder if you're in a position where you have to start Shaedon, and not just because of the contract, but you have to see what you got. You have to kind of figure out if this guy is the guy.
I fight against
bury him on the bench.
I fight against that religiously, not just with Shaedon, but with any player. You can't just say, show me what you got. You have got to earn it. And if they think he's earned it, awesome.
And to a lot of our listeners on the YouTube chat and the text line, Jeremy Grant off the bench might be a good thing.
I will fight against that too. It doesn't make any sense to me.
That second rotation is tough. I don't think the Blazers have awesome depth. And Jeremy Grant becomes part of your depth. I like that.
But the lack of creation in the second unit, particularly with Scoot hurt.
But how many people's second unit have awesome creation? Title contenders.
Most teams.
Title contenders.
Most teams. This is a team that was already short on creation and shooting. And by doing this, you're putting most of your creation in the starting lineup, whether it's individual or team-oriented. Asking Jeremy to be the kind of the quasi sixth man, I don't think is a good thing. That's not a Jeremy Shaedon thing. I think that's a bad place to put him because Jeremy's a play ender, not a play starter. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I look at him kind of like wing Wes Matthews. If you're trying to look at Blazers of yore, like Wes had, I had this thing called the black hole rating, and it was based off of Kobe and and Carmelo, of guys that just ended possession after possession after possession after possession. Being a black hole it has this negative connotation. If you are a guy as a black hole, that means you understand your role. Your role is to be a play ender, whether it's to get a shot up or to drive to the rim. Jeremy his black hole index is high, and I don't mean that again as a negative connotation. That is your role. Where there's guys that are ball movers, there are guys that are creators, there are guys that are shot creators. I look at Jeremy as a play ender kind of guy, and that guy being your quasi sixth man, I think is a bad role for him.
Expectations for the Blazers. What do you actually expect this team to get to instead of just kind of what we're hoping and wishing and praying? Making cake and everybody laugh like we did in middle school. Realities for the Blazers. What realities look like this year and how far we can go. We'll stay here with the Blazers. This is 105.1 The Fan.
AM.
503-864-6326 is the fan text line. The YouTube chats. Want to read some stuff here. I think Blazers get between 35-40 wins, hoping for a play-in spot. But with the West, I don't expect one. The record won't matter for me. Just show some life. Show some ray of hope that something on your roster will be a top talent in the league. Boy, do I agree with that a ton. At this stage of his career, whenever I see Jeremy coming to the game, he's kind of a gunner. So wouldn't that be better off the bench? I don't know. Chauncey said they had 7 starters, so yeah, he's a starter too. I think sometimes we overlook that. I think whatever rotation looks like, because maybe
the more interesting thing is who closes. That's the more interesting thing to me.
Exactly. We've seen that in the NBA a lot of starting lineups aren't finishing lineups. I wonder if Chauncey, this will be a real big coach thing for him, because that every night finisher could be a different group every single night.
It won't be every night, and I wonder if we ever get there in the NBA where
dictate what the game is giving you.
Coaches are creatures of habit, players are creatures of habit. You have to have some semblance of normalcy there. But I've wondered, like Major League Baseball, when you try to match your lineups to pitchers, I'm wondering why we haven't quite got there in the NBA of changing starting lineups. Now, there's talent dispersion that matters for sure. But, if a matchup makes sense, like, why don't we change matchups on a nightly basis?
I think it's just chemistry between the 5.
I understand that, but I'm surprised a coach hasn't done that in college or in G League, just to get weird with it. And I'm not endorsing it. I'm just like, why not? You know what I mean? Yeah, there's a real hesitance to it.
Use another example. I'm watching Liverpool on TV, and this group is a weird group.
Mm-hmm.
This is a group that I don't normally see together all the time. And it does create some excitement from a watching standpoint, from a fan standpoint. It does create a little bit of like, ooh, what am I going to get tonight? I mean, going back to the Mariners series, 7, 8, 9, I was like, who's it going to be tonight? And sometimes I was stoked for it, and sometimes I wasn't. So that could be something fun as well.
We're going to see something here, and they've done it in the middle minutes of each game so far in the preseason. Unfortunately, 2 was dinged up a little bit, so we didn't see as much of it as I wanted to. But we're going to get a lineup that is Drew, Shaden, to Jeremy Denny. We're going to get that lineup. That lineup is going to be out there. They're kind of their quasi, very switchable, most athletic lineup they can put on the floor with Denny at the 5.
Speaking of realities, like talking about that rotation and like say basically we got 6 starters on the Blazers. What's maybe 7 if you count Thibault? What's the rest? Scoot. I mean, now before Scoots, what's the rest of that bench going to look like? Because that's my biggest concern: is the drop off after Matisse Thybulle and Jeremy Grant. Let's call them the bench players, the best players. The drop off after that gets really dicey for me. Well, Caleb Love is not ready to play in this league.
No,
Young is going to get some minutes to your point, but he's not ready.
And then Chris, like that's that, and then you're gonna when Rob's healthy, Rob's gonna be there.
Rob is going to be huge if he can get healthy and stay healthy.
Look, if Rob,
that gives you real bench depth.
I mean, when Rob is healthy, Rob impacts games like few guys in the NBA.
Big time, dude.
He's one of the best defensive players in the league. He still has that ability, just talking to guys and just knowing what he's a defensive savant. He genuinely is. He's an incredible defender. His basketball IQ is through the roof. And selfishly, I love Rob. Rob is one of my favorite players ever to talk to. If you're talking about one of the real ones, Rob is one of the realest dudes. That Rob will cuss during press conferences and nobody bats an eye because that's just who Rob is. You know what I mean? Like, it's like when Big Poppy goes, "This is our bleeping city." And nobody got mad at Poppy for dropping an F-bomb in front of 20,000 kids that are under 15.
Sure didn't, but they got mad at Trent Bray for doing it.
But that's what I mean. Like, he's unabashedly him, right? But you take a look at this team and kind of look at the different opportunities. I am very interested in what those closing lineups are going to be. I put a tweet out earlier asking for like what some predictions were going to be. I said mine I thought was going to be 36 wins. I think they're going to win between 38 and 40 games. And I think that it's less to do with the Blazers and more to do with compression in the West. Where that ultimately has them landing, I don't know yet. Everybody's like, what do you expect in the first 5 or 10 games? I don't go first 5 or 10. I go first 25. I don't really start making like real assessments on things. Patterns, trends, certainly, but I need 25 games worth of data to understand because Terry Stotts, one of the things he did that I always really appreciated, they looked at games in five game segments because so much can change over 5 games. You can go 2-3, you can go 3-2, you can go 1-4, you can go 5-0, you can go 0-5. But now you roll in the next, and now what do you now? Now what do you now? And once you get 5 of those 5-game segments, that gives you a better understanding.
What happens when before you read some of those, and maybe I'm going to throw us off here on this, what happens if you get to that 25 games and things aren't working? That's my biggest concern and that's probably why I've been a little critical on Chauncey as a head coach, is if this thing is not going well 25 games in, I don't know how much faith I have in him to turn it around.
My adage on coaching in the NBA: Jimmy's and Joe's, not X's and O's. It means the players aren't doing it.
Okay,
that's where I fall. Like, Spo, as great as a coach as he is, how great are the Heat?
I think he might be the exception to that rule.
They're the 10th seed.
I
in
know,
the East,
and I don't think they're very good.
But my point is that he is pulling every last bit out of that, and they're the 10th seed in the East. And that's where they've been. Either you got dudes or you don't. And that's where I fall with this.
44 wins. JG off the bench. Best news I've heard in a while. He wants to chuck up shots. Shane and Denny are the top 2 options. They have to both start. You said you had some Twitter thoughts over there as well. Any other Twitter thoughts?
Look, if we're talking about chucking up shots, I wouldn't exclude Shane from that list, guys. He shot 31% for 3. On the prediction side of this, I think Drew helps Shea with his defense. Scoot improves a lot with having Drew, Dame, and Chauncey help mentor him. I think Scoot has improved at the rim, and his playmaking is so huge to this team. I'm betting on Shea and Scoot both improving a lot. Shane, I'm saying 42 wins if the team stays healthy. I know it's probably a bit higher than other folks in Vegas have them, but I think this team has the requisite young talent and defensive profile to win some games. They probably wouldn't, on paper, very stoked. Margaret, around 500 and at least a play-in. Shea improved and averaging around 22 to 23 points per game, maybe a little bit more, and most improved. Denny, an all-star and averaging around 22 a game. 2 and Drew average around 15. Both all defense in either first or second team. JG to average around 17 or 18. Big Con, the West is loaded. I think the Blazers win 39 to 43 games and are in the play-in. From there, it comes down to who's there and health. I feel a huge year for Klingon. He looks healthy and ready to battle. I think Scoot struggles to come back from injury and play well. Deep team, I'm excited. Eddie, I'll say we win 41 games and make the play-in.
Let's talk about play-in real quick. I think the play-in is really interesting. What I will want to see when we get to that area, and obviously we got a long way to go till we get there, is did Portland make the play-in or did the West put Portland in the play-in? You follow?
Yes, no. That's kind of context matters.
Yeah, because if the Blazers get to the play-in and it's because the bottom of the West is just garbage.
Who wants it the least?
Yeah, I don't think that doesn't make me feel great about the team going forward.
No, I'm 100% there with you. And you've heard the well, I'd say discussion, but arguments I've had with Dirt and Sprague when we're changing over, and like play in. I'm like, it's context.
But that's also an aesthetic from to flip it on its head. That's also an aesthetic from the fan point of view.
Yeah, no.
From what we do right here in media to feel that feels like a pinnacle, a pedestal of an accomplishment.
I tell you right now,
that is a step in the right direction because it's
Chicago
better than
Bulls
what you did
fans
last year.
Don't care about the play-in.
Well,
the Miami Heat do not care about the play-in.
Because they've been in the play-in for
the
many
Atlanta
years.
Hawks do not care.
I'd push it against you. If Portland got into the play-in, fans here would be stoked.
If they fell backwards into a play-in, they would not be stoked.
I disagree with that. Without playoff berths for a while, this really young team that won less than 40 games last year.
If they win 36 games and back into a play-in, I don't think people are going to be stoked.
I disagree. I think there is an aesthetic of that does get you excited, whether you deserve it or not. Dude, Portland Timbers, for example, we've been talking about it all day. They're in a playoff game today. I don't feel great about it.
The fan sentiment is egregious.
That's because we're used to being in the playoffs. That's where it comes in. That's why Chicago doesn't.
They're in the playoffs.
Yeah, but it feels like we're not advancing. This would be an advancement, whether aesthetic or true.
I think if they backed, let's take the records from last year. The Blazers they had a real chance in the end, and people were excited about that. If they're basically the same exact team, but this time they're in the play-in, I don't think people are stoked about it. I just don't.
We'll get back into this and finish up some Blazer thoughts today, and we'll chat a little Michael Jordan as he was on the NBC broadcast last night. Maybe we can have a little fun with NBC broadcast and look ahead when we get an NBC broadcast team, because that'll be exciting for me. Stay with us here, Blazers on the Fan Sports Network, but there's Russ with sports.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on The Fan, the Trailblazers indeed begin their 2025-26 campaign tonight, hosting Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards, though, is questionable with back spasms. Blazers coach Chauncey Billups announcing his starting lineup yesterday. It's Drew Holiday, Shaedon Sharpe, Toumani Camara, Denny Avdia, and Donovan Clingan. It's a 7 o'clock tip on 2.2 on your antenna or Xfinity Channel 302. The Blazers are 4-point underdogs. ESPN begins their portion of the season this evening as well. 4 o'clock from Madison Square Garden. It's the Knicks hosting the Cavaliers, who had the best record in the East last season. Cleveland are 1.5-point favorites. Then at 6:30 from Dallas, number 1 overall pick Cooper Flagg making his Mavericks debut as they host Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs. The Mavs are 2.5-point favorites in that one. Over in the NFL, Buccaneers head coach Todd Bowles says running back Bucky Irving and receiver Chris Godwin are out Sunday against the Saints. Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels has been ruled out Monday night against the Chiefs due to a hamstring strain. Marcus Mariota will get the start. And Jets quarterback Tyrod Taylor, who took over in the second half of Sunday's loss to the Panthers after Justin Fields was benched, is now considered day-to-day with a knee injury. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rest from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for Seahawks football. The Fan Sports Network. 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
All right, closing arguments is next. I'll send you on your way, but we'll finish up with some conversation. We were just chatting about this in the break. Boy, does NBC feel like a breath of fresh air last night.
It wasn't that hard, man.
No, I mean, I will double down on the Carmelo thing. Like, I'm out. And T-Mac looked like he'd never been on TV before in my life. I love insanity on that. And we'll see how that grows, because there's a lot of cool stuff that NBC can do, especially for the feels. There's a lot of feels in that. Boy, Ekatike just scored a sick goal. There's a lot of feels that the NBC can create. I mean, that logo, that sound, the whole shebang.
Pomp and circumstance.
Mike Tirico on a call. Is Mike Tirico going to do a lot of games this year?
Yeah, he's one of the main. Look, I'm out myself here. I am not a huge Tirico guy.
Really?
I would say a lot. Like, here's another one. And don't stone me. I know. I don't like, for the most part, most New York-centered, New York-trained broadcasters.
Like the Syracuse guys?
I do not, with the exception
you
of
hate
Eagles.
Mike Lynch?
Well, I mean, I love Lynch, but I'm not a Breen guy. I was not a
Really?
Look, I understand people like him and all those things. He's not my Huckleberry.
Bang.
Look, the bang call's great, but it's not my jam. I did not and have not ever liked Marv Albert.
Oh, dude, see, Marv Albert's the only thing I think of when I watch basketball. I can only think of his voice.
I for whatever reason.
What a move by Jordan. Yep, dude, it's so good.
It's what that cadence and that sound of voice. Again, this is, I know it's entirely a me thing, But that, for whatever reason, it's not appealing to me.
As he steps up to the free throw line.
Yeah, it's
Welcome
never
to Indianapolis.
It's just, I don't know what it is, man. It's just not, it's not my jam. Harlan, love him.
Well, yeah, Harlan's great.
Ryan Ruocco, love him, even though he's a New York guy. Like,
Dude,
but
our boy KC.
I mean, yeah, like there's so many guys that I love so much. And again, I don't dislike Breen as a human like that, and I don't think he's a bad broadcaster.
I would hope you don't dislike him as a human. He seems like a pretty solid dude.
No. I've talked to him. He's
good
a great
looking silver
dude.
fox. Let's go.
No, he's just when people are like, oh, I'm so excited for Mike Breen. It's not that I'm not excited that I hate him. He's just not my Huckleberry. But overall, the broadcast in general from NBC last night, even though it's ring night and it's supposed to have that, guess what? It had that. Mm-hmm. ESPN, they did so many things on the fly of maybe we should show player introductions in the NBA Finals. Maybe we should make this about the Finals. Maybe we shouldn't talk about LeBron James during the Finals. Meanwhile,
somebody who's not playing in the Finals.
It was just crazy. Meanwhile, NBC last night, you get the pregame introductions, you get the buildup, you get all of the juice, you get the camera angles, you get the announcers dropping away from the game and letting the crowd carry it. They introduce the Houston Rockets, and when they get to Kevin Durant, boo, because it's in Oklahoma City. You heard what Kevin Durant said before the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
The whole is there anybody ushers or security that you're
nope.
want to see? He's like, nope. And I'm like, good. Yes. Drive this up. Go to the player intros.
Yeah.
Let everybody boo him.
Yeah, but you also like those kind of guys. Like Kevin Durant when he says that kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's a very on-brand meringue statement.
It's entertainment, man.
Yeah.
And you know what's more entertaining than Stephen A. Smith? Everything. Everything.
I don't think anybody's going to disagree with you.
But that's what I mean. At NBC, the bar was the floor, and they jumped over it.
Did you catch the Michael Jordan interview last night?
I missed it. I'm bummed I missed it because I wanted to see what pre-taped Michael Jordan was going to look like.
First of all, bloodshot. Bloodshot eyes. It was very interesting. It was fascinating in the sense that he was very subdued. He was very almost... his body language had a little bit of embarrassment. Tarico was just laughing with him and trying to keep it real chill.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, how often you pick up a ball and just go shooting? And he goes, I don't have a hoop here. And he goes, what? Tarico goes, oh, come on, man. Yeah, you pick up a basketball and shoot some hoops. He goes, you see a basketball hoop around here? And just Stone Cold looked at him and was like, I haven't picked up a ball in years.
You would be surprised how many guys that's true for. Channing Frye, I talked to him about this. He was like, when we were at NBC, I was like, somebody took a shot or something like that, and he was like, damn. And I was like, when the last time you shot, Channing? He's like, oh, my shot would look like that right now. He's like, I haven't touched the ball in 3 years, dog.
What is that
and I was
about? What is that about?
Because weird.
Because I feel like basketball would be such a great sport to age with because
it's not like football where when you take off the pads, you're done. You take off the pads.
You can just cruise to the backyard and on a nice fall autumn day and just kind of
Thierry Henry is out there with a soccer ball in studio before having juggling drills. You know what I mean?
That's a strange thing. It's just the level of competitiveness what Michael had to play for, everything that was on his shoulders every single night.
When he was
that
with
you
the
kind of
Wizards,
just pause out of it.
He went down on the floor during preseason run-up scrimmages and went and gave his players work.
Yeah.
And now he's not touching a ball? That's weird.
Do we give Jordan more of a free pass than we do anybody else?
We talked about this yesterday.
Because he's disappeared.
Well, he's also even everything he's done, whether it's gambling away millions or the flu game and being not poisoned by pizza. Come on,
his rough entrance into ownership.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we give him a free pass for a lot of stuff
because he was. I mean, other than Michael Jackson, he was the most famous person on the planet for a decade.
I know. I just feel like in almost all the other sports, when the greats go away, we still see them sometimes.
Took Gretzky a little while,
I mean,
but now Wayne's on TNT.
Look at all these NBA guys on podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody is in the media right now.
How many Michael Jordan stories have you heard told? Have you heard the J.R. Writer, Kevin Garnett one?
Maybe.
So I'll be quick with it. It was J.R. Rogers, I think it was his third year, and I think KG was a rookie or a second year. And J.R. had some good games against Mike, 25, 30 points, and KG being the young buck, and they're playing the Bulls, and Jordan's like leaning up against the stanch or up against the scores table during a timeout, and KG's like, yeah, J.R., yeah, give it to Mike. And J.R. was kind of like, keep that quiet. And Mike took that personally, and he scored like 15 straight and had them run, like they ran ISO after ISO after ISO after ISO, and Mike just cooked JR. They go back to the timeout and they're gassed, they can't breathe, and Jordan's like, nothing to say now, huh? Nothing to say now. Like, how many Michael Jordan stories do you think every player in the league has? How dope would it?
Everybody has one because they
were on the other side of it.
They all remember the great one.
How dope would it be, though, if Mike was out there telling those stories? And unfortunately, that's just not who he is. He's going to let everybody else tell his stories for him.
Yeah, Reggie's good at telling stories about Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm. Everybody is.
I don't know what he's going to be for NBC, but look, I'd like to hear more from Michael just in general, dude. You're the greatest player to ever play. And I wouldn't want it to be like what Tom Brady is. Tom Brady calling a game, I'm not really into that. I'd rather hear Tom Brady talking about, telling stories and talking about what it takes to be a winner instead of just looking like a vampire on TV with fake face. You know? I don't know, though. I mean, is MJ just going to be high and drunk every single time he does this? I mean, if I was worth $2 billion, I would be too.
Probably.
And you would never see me again.
Probably worth more than that.
Yeah, totally.
But anyway. No, I would love, like, when Gretzky came to TNT, I was like, what's this going to be? And then every time Gretzky talks, you know what happens? That whole booth
everybody shuts up.
Silent.
It's real quiet.
And it's like, it's the gaming lean forward meme of like, oh, Wayne's talking, and everybody just shuts up and leans forward and listens. Like, Jordan could have that. He could if he accepted that, if he took that mantle, and everybody would just be like, because what did we do? Yes, it was COVID, but when The Last Dance came on, you know what we all watched?
We all watched
every single one of us.
I know. I was almost not going to watch it because I was like, what do I need to know? I lived through this.
Yeah, and then you watched it and you were like,
whoa.
You know, I took that personally.
Well, I think it's the access to Michael. We never really had that.
But that's what I mean. And if he allowed himself to be that, which again, that's pre-produced and he controlled everything.
For sure.
But also these segments, you know what they are? They're pre-produced and controlled.
I know.
So
you can't count on much, but you can't always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Match and watch in Champions League right now on Paramount Plus. Stream your local NFL game live every Sunday all season long, starting at just $30 for your first year. That's like $250 a month. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. When we come back, closing arguments. We'll settle it up, get you ready for the Blazers tonight, and then send you on your way to Ducks Insider. This is 105.1 The Fan.
Now, it's time for Easy Play, brought to you by Home Z, making home improvement easy.
2-point game. Keep it on the floor. Gilgeous-Alexander, MVP, down 2 on opening night. Pull up, SGA, got it! Ties the game at 104 with 2 seconds remaining.
That's Mike Tirico on NBC and Peacock. SGA, kind of showing why on opening night he is still the reigning MVP, and we'll remember that all season long if he keeps making easy plays like that, especially on national TV in what was a great opening game. This Easy Play brought to you by Home Z. Use Home Z's online calculator to estimate your project instantly. Make it easy. Call Home Z. That's HOMZE. HomeZ.com.
We just finished our roof and siding with HomeZ. I got a clear itemized estimate from their team. Their certified installers are real pros. It was exactly how home improvement should be.
For a stronger, better-looking home, visit HomeZ.com. Make it easy. Call HomeZ. CCB number 239804.
The Trailblazers are back.
The goal is to compete every night.
A new season with new expectations.
You cannot be ranting and raving about how amazing the defense is going to be and not, at the minimum, be in the 7, 8, 9, 10 slot.
Will the playoff drought extend to 5 years, or will Rip City come roaring back? Keep it here for the latest on Portland's sports leader, the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM. The Fan.
Commercial Industrial Auctioneers is holding their car, truck, and heavy equipment public auction this Saturday online. For information, go to commercialindustrialauctions.com. Oregon's leading heavy equipment, industrial, and liquidation auctioneers. Commercialindustrialauctions.com.
The Fan 411.
Log on to 1051thefan.com now for your chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to the 67th Annual Fall Portland Metro Dealers RV Show happening November 6th through 9th at Portland Expo Center. Find details on how you can enter to win at 1051thefan.com. Prize courtesy of the Portland Metro Dealers RV Show. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite 1051 The Fan for exclusive content from fan hosts, easy access to fan podcasts, and more.
That's the Fan 411.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. Quo, formerly OpenPhone, gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. Quo lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? Quo automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With Quo's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions and use those insights to level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with Quo. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's quo.com/sports. QUO.com/sports.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Straight Talk knows the best holiday gift is simply saying yes.
Yes, you can stay up late. Sure, more cookies. Of course we can watch that movie again.
That's why we give you real unlimited data, so you can say yes to all of your family's streaming, scrolling, and sharing. And now at Straight Talk, get another gift worth giving, a free 5G phone with select plans. Because yes is the best gift to give.
Yes!
And receive. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
The firm of Harris and Meringue is wrapping up for the day.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled.
Which means it's time for the closing arguments. Brought to you by Leskin Law. One-day divorce mediation. Peace treaties, not war plans. Visit LeskinLaw.com for more information.
You want answers? I want the truth!
On the Fan Sports Network.
You can't handle the truth!
105.1 and 1080, The Fan.
All right, this is Closing Arguments. That'll do it for us. We'll send you on your way. Before we get there, though, we'll finish up a little closing arguments here. Something fun I saw on the text line earlier today that I saved for this moment instantly. 503-864-6326. How are the Chinese going to watch Yang Han Sen tonight? Blazer vision, or do they have to use their antenna?
They get it through something else. I don't know.
I thought it was funny
what
thinking
it
about
is.
an antenna in China getting a Portland broadcast. Sometimes I'm really stupid, and I'll be the first one here to admit it. But that was a little joke that I chuckled at because I have Blazer Vision, so I will watch Blazer Vision tonight. I might have to quad box on my laptop tonight and a quad box my screens because I'm gonna get that Timbers game in. Plus, I want to watch Cooper Flag tonight. Don't forget this hot Middle Tennessee and Delaware football game tonight, dude. Are you ready for that? Are you ready for that?
No.
I think they're two of the worst teams. I was farting around on SP Plus the other day. I think Middle Tennessee State is one of the absolute worst teams in college football. Dude, you always talk to me about watching midweek games, but now they're not good enough for you, are they?
Yeah. No, they were there as an appetite palate cleanser on Wednesday nights a week ago. I got stuff to do tonight, brother. I'm good to go. I'm happy.
I got stuff to do tonight. Oh, yeah, what do you got to do tonight? You ain't got no job. You ain't got S to do. I like that line a lot. I will watch this. Can I watch Blazer Vision on the NBA app Like if I get the NBA app on my Apple TV, can I put Blazer Vision on that?
Yeah, you can link it through.
Yeah, is that how you
Yeah.
do it? I've never done this before with the NBA.
Blazer Vision is through the
I was
NBA
just
app.
watch. I knew that.
Yeah.
I always just watched primetime games.
Yeah.
You know me, dude. I'm a no cable guy.
Yeah,
I'm a
remember,
primetime
remember,
guy.
remember now though. You got to pick and choose.
I
You
know.
got 82 of them things.
You know, I had the conversation with my wife last night, and she was on board a lot better than I thought she was.
So check back in around January.
Because I think I'm actually in the opposite form of you. Some of these 8 p.m. Blazer tips are going to be great for me.
I am
because I'll put the kids down at like 8:30 and I'll watch the game.
I am not thrilled about it. I can tell you right now, anybody working these games is not thrilled about it. Because I'm telling you right now, 8 start time ain't going to be an 8 start time.
What's the first NBC Peacock game we get?
I think
Do you know that
I
off
think
the top of
it's,
your head?
no. I said this yesterday, man. I just show up and work.
Shut up and dribble.
Yeah, honestly, man, I have the schedule in my phone, and that's how I know when guys. I've been doing this since year 14, and when you pass 10 years of doing it, it all just starts blending together, and you're just like, okay, I've got a game tomorrow at this time. This is when I got to be there. This is when I'm going to be done. This is when I'm going to be on air, and it's just. It's, I remember being younger and thinking about players, like, how do you not know where you're playing or who you're playing next or what it's like? There's so many of them.
Yeah.
And like, especially if you're a vet, it's just like, it's so dumb, but it is just on to the next. You focus on what's in front of you and you look at what, it was like, oh, you work and you do this. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I've been to 1,000 games.
Do you think in 2 weeks Bradley Beal is going to know that they're playing in Utah tonight
No,
at 6 o'clock?
absolutely not. No, dude.
Absolutely not.
Now, if you're looking forward to the schedule, like a certain matchup against a former teammate, or
Well, yeah,
like,
that's different.
Like
See your boys.
Yeah, you certainly check mark and highlight some games or some road trips. Like, hey, we're going to Miami in January. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Or hey, we're going to Toronto in February. Crap. You know what I mean? Like those kind of things. But like the night in, night out of it all. Like I know they have the LA trip after the opener. It's like after that, I'm like, I don't know. I'll take a look at the schedule and readjust. That's just the reality, man. When you just go and go and go and go.
TV giving us a little bit of love tonight with Cavs Knicks at 4 o'clock. Is that 4 o'clock?
Yeah,
right?
apparently Karl Anthony Towns has been downgraded and then upgraded back to questionable. He's sick.
Is tonight the night for Inside the NBA on ESPN?
I won't.
Yeah, you're not there.
I'm not-
I will have to report back on
Yeah.
on Inside the NBA. For
Yeah,
you.
because even if I open up my laptop, which I usually do at games, I'll have League Pass on my laptop to just keep track of what's going on in the league during Blazers games. But yeah, the studio show stuff, I don't get to see that when I'm at games. So,
oh, dude, ESPN could totally hose it tonight.
well, I'm telling you what, they know what the bar is.
Yeah.
So don't suck.
Well, they knew what the bar was before this. They still couldn't
and
handle it.
yet, here we are.
Closing arguments brought to you by Leskin Law. Visit LeskinLaw.com for more information. Leskin Law's one-day divorce mediation, peace treaties, not war plans. Danny, when we come in tomorrow morning, what is the first thing you are going to what is the thing we are thinking about from tonight's game? And we'll end our Blazer coverage there.
Win, loss. Look, obviously, you always want to win. Like selfishly, I want them to win 82 games. It's better for us. It's better for the coverage. It's better for selfishly all those things. How do they look? How do they look?
You're talking all aesthetic.
Yeah, like
don't need a box score. Don't need
How do
wins,
things look?
losses. Don't care about starters. Don't care about bench rotation. How does it look?
For me specifically, the thing that I'm watching the most is what does the offense look like? How quick do they get into things? How much do they get bogged down in the half court? How much are they pushing the pace? How much stagnancy is there in the offense? What kind of shots are they getting? Like everybody's like, well, they've given up a bunch of points in preseason. I'm like, yeah, I mean, they're playing a lot of guys, and you're just trying to get through some things. Like I firmly believe that they're going to be a top 8, top 10 defensive unit. Like that's just that's where they should be. If they aren't there, at game 25, that's probably a problem. But offensively, what does that stuff look like? That's what I want to see.
Over under 2.5 minutes standing ovation for Damian Lillard tonight.
If they give him, if he's the last one out, it's going to be, it'll be the under because you're talking about that's the national anthem. Was it 2:53 is usually the line, I think, for the national anthem, 2 minutes, 53 seconds,
yeah.
somewhere right around there. So
it'll be longer than the national anthem?
No, it'll be shorter. Okay. I'm saying if you're going national anthem. Now, when Dame steps back onto the court opening night next year, might take the over.
That might take the over.
Might take the over on that one.
I know I'm jealous of anybody going to the game tonight because that's the one thing I want to look at. Just having Damian Lillard back in the building, we can talk about Danny Avdia and Jeremy off the bench till we're blue in the face. But I think
there's plenty of time for that stuff.
Yeah, don't forget tonight when you go to the game and you're having a great time out there.
Take it all in, man.
That you get to watch Damian Lillard back in Portland off the Portland bench. Yep.
And again, people have asked, why should I go tonight? Go tonight for the pomp and circumstance. If you watched the pregame stuff with OKC last night and you got to see the roar and all of the stuff that comes along, the pageantry of it all, that's what opening night's just dope, man. Go, have fun.
Merry Christmas, everybody out there. I hope you all have a wonderful time, except for you, Brian Kelly. We'll be back tomorrow, give you some Blazer reactions from the night's game. We'll get back into some college football as well. Plus, we'll have 10 Toes Down at 12:15. Thanks for sticking with us tonight on 105.1, 1080, or on the YouTube chat. We'll see you guys tomorrow. For Danny Marang, that's Jeff Rust. I'm Patrick Harris. Go do something I would do.
Bye.